Dedelow. Is that the one? Do I click on that one?
Yep, click your show
Yeah. All right. Do I click in the little box or on the show?
on the show.
Okay. And I've done that. Now what? Schedule stream?
No, so once you click it, it should take you to another page, and then on the top
Okay.
top right, it should say "Go Live."
All right. It's not doing that right now, but there's this thing that's just red that says live. How about that? Can I hit that? Hit it, Moroshko. I think I'm live
Yep,
now.
it says "Watch Live Now." You should be good.
All right. Thank you. Go back to sleep. I appreciate it. Talk to you. Bye. All right. I'm on YouTube. Way to go. I figured it out, too. Well, I didn't figure it out. So what did I do? I went to the page. I clicked on my broadcast, and then I hit go live, and then you know what it says. All right. Hey, let's talk about traffic. First of all, it's really, I have, this is the first time I'm doing a show in this brand new studio, and so all of the stuff is new to me. So just have a little bit of patience, but it's pretty cool. And we had a guy clean yesterday for several hours, so Verley will be happy. But Monday it was Pullen and Starkey, and then Tuesday was Verley, and then yesterday it was Dabberton, and then here I am. I'm Jim Dedelow. I'm the owner here, and I'm going to the NFL Combine right after the show. So please, actually, I'll do my podcast, and then I'll head out, and I'm going down to the NFL Combine. Part of it is we have joined the Sports Tech HQ Collective, and they've helped us out a little bit. And so we have certain duties, and some of those is to go to these meetings, and so I'm going, and I like to. They do these meetings concurrent with sporting events, like the last one I went to was the golf tournament, Live Golf Tournament. And I met, oh, hey, Sergio, how are you? Just kind of walking around, and it's kind of cool. Well, the same thing will happen at the Combine today. I'll go over to the Combine, and we get special passes and stuff. And then we go, and then we try to figure out how to bring sports technology to Indiana and how to fund it and who's doing what. And it's really helped us, honestly. There's a whole culture of technologists in the Indianapolis area that is not here, and people that want to give you money, which is not here. George Hallis and I are similar. George Hallis was at the Hammond Pros. He had the idea for professional football. He couldn't find any money in Hammond, so he had to go to Decatur, of all places. Me, it's a little kind of the same thing. It's really, you're looking around, and it gets kind of difficult for the sums that you need to do the technologies that you need. But they certainly have it all set up in Indianapolis. So I'll be down there today all day, and I don't know, I might spend the night. Who knows, depending on how it goes. If I'm sitting there partying with some people, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just go stay at my cousin's, and we'll do that. But anyways, let's look at traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65. They're all pretty good right now. And let's go to AccuWeather and see what they say. Right now it is 25 degrees here at the Strack and Van Til Studios on the campus of Radio Center. I'm so glad to be back home, and if you can hear it in my voice, that's just how it is. I have 25 degrees, or it is 25 degrees right now. Here it is 24 degrees at Labor's Local 41 in Munster, and it is 26 degrees at Ironworkers Local 395 in Portage. So it's supposed to be a beautiful day. Periods of clouds and sun and a high of 44. Actually be well over 50 down in Indy when we get down there. Friday, mostly sunny, breezy, and warmer, and a high of 64 degrees. That's what they're projecting. What a beautiful day to go play golf. It'll be a little bit muddy because everything will have melted, but just unbelievable. But then reality sets in, and Saturday, a high of 37, much colder with a thick cloud cover, a bit of snow in the afternoon accumulating to an inch, and then by Sunday, a high of 30 degrees. All right, I am here. We built brand new, I shouldn't say we, I should say Bob Starkey built it, and we're calling it Starkey Studios, as it is, if you've ever been to the 75-year-old WJOB building, we completely refurbished the newsroom, and it is a big TV studio looking like any other TV studio as in Chicago. When we come back, I want to talk about a bunch of things. Okay, first of all, we got to talk about the Bears. And I know some of you guys want to stir it up between me and McDermott, and I don't care if you do. I just want to talk about it. Bears, and then you talk about the mask law that came into effect, and then we talk about immigration laws that are downstate that are much more important than the Bears, to be honest with you, both of these. And then I want to talk about the sportsmanship dinner. And then I got Wes Lukosius and Dave Satkowski at 7. So there, Dave Satkowski is going into the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame. And Wes will be able to talk about something that I wrote my Substack on. If you want more of me, go to Substack, type in Jim Dedelow, and please subscribe to the Substack. I think there's as I went to bed last night, it was 171 of you have signed up to read what I write. As Kuziak says, I'm probably a better writer than I am radio host, and I'm not disputing that. But you can get it, and I write something about the Bears and the tradition and the spirit of George Halas starting out here, and you get the idea. All right, so what I'm going to do, I forgot everything's really kind of brand new here, and you're going to give me a second to get it right, and there it is. Who helps fund everything that we do? And you should go fund them, and they are the best grocery store in America. You know who that is. Come on. They get the highest technology. I mean, you can get some really good prices on really quality stuff. And here's who they are.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people
Have a great day.
is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
Pretty good. Pretty neat. All right. Now I got one more thing to do, and I should be able to get you guys up and running for 60772.
We did not receive a response. Goodbye.
What are you doing? All right, you guys got to follow me. We are a couple days away from getting our old phone system back, so so All right, here we go. Now it'll go, please enter your show.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios host and call screener line. Please enter your show or meeting number and press pound.
All right. I'm not going to tell you what it is, and you'll...
Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
All right. I got to do it quickly. You got to say it out loud so you don't have to go back. You know that? I learned that in...
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
All right. I think I'm taking calls if you guys want to call, but that's how it is. 219-845-1100 should be working, and I got plenty on the plate. So once again, it is an amazing time of year in terms of the weather. As you got a high of 44 today, hanging out in the mid-20s right now. 64 is your high tomorrow, and then 37 is your high on Saturday. And by Sunday, it's a high of only 29. That's why you're so resilient. You know what I mean? You can handle weather like that. All right, and then in terms of the traffic, it's very light. 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65, they're all moving along pretty well. I want to get to a couple of things. First of all, go to my Substack, and you can read my Substack about the Bears. I mean, certainly I want the Bears here, and I know that I think what happened here was on Monday and Tuesday there were people that are kind of anti-McDermott, and that's just how it is. And I guess the mayor got mad at me on his podcast, and that's, that stuff gets old after a while, because for you guys, you hear it all the time, and, basically him and me going back and forth, and quite frankly, there's a little bit of entertainment in it, right? But not a ton. But ultimately, they're like, not, Verley's a Gary person, and Gary got axed out of this thing, so of course she's going to say her things and pull in. He's a NIMBY guy, and that's how he is. You know what he's going to do. I think I'm guessing that Dabberton was on yesterday and is kind of for the Bears, I imagine, coming to Robertsdale and Whiting, and certainly I am. And I went out to I emceed on Monday night the sportsmanship committee, the sportsmanship banquet, and I was honored to do that. And I got everybody there, all 800 people, to just go at 1, 2, 3, da Bears, and say it really loud, and the kids loved it. So, you get, and I talked to, I don't know, he probably talked to at least 50 people that night, and I want to say every last one of them wants the Bears to come to Northwest Indiana. And I'm certainly in that, and a lifelong Bears fan and so forth. But it looks like overnight that they're giving the last look to Illinois. And I would not be surprised at that, and maybe that contributed to, the mayor being a little bit terse. But I don't know what's going to happen here, but what I do know is that this is where George Halas started. Okay, and that is not a minor factor, okay? It just isn't. I'll read you a little bit of what I wrote. Papa Bear wants to come home to Indiana. Let him. Now, you can go to Substack and read it if you want, but here it is. Da Bears. Thank you for considering Hammond for the next chapter of the Monsters of the Midway. It's all over the news, which is really exciting. The other day, I emceed a banquet for athletes, coaches, and fans, and I got them all at once to yell, Da Bears. The message was clear and loud. We want you to come to Indiana. Hammond is where George Halas got the idea for professional football, and he wants to come back home. In 1919, Papa Bear played for the Hammond Pros. They were based in Hammond and played around Chicago and the Midwest, including Wrigley Field. A lot of people started coming to watch. One day, Papa Bear said, hey, we might have something here. He couldn't find the money in Hammond, so he took the idea to Decatur, of all places. At least that's how my buddy Wes Lupkosius, who runs the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, explains it in the video below. Fast forward to 2026. You've drawn us in with a plan of coming to the land by Wolf Lake in Hammond. Excellent choice. I own the radio stations a couple miles away. Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I host the morning show on my own radio stations. People wind up associating me with the history of the region. I get all sorts of emails like this one from a guy named Ken Arney. Now, I want to say thank you to Ken for sending me this email because it really got me thinking. And here it is. Jed, my grandfather played with a team called the Hammond Pros. As the name would imply, they represented Hammond, Indiana. On that team was George Halas, who played end. The team was an NFL traveling team. It produced 3 Hall of Famers, including Papa Bear. So perhaps what may happen if the Bears relocate to Hammond is the team would return to the founders' pro football roots. Return to the founders' pro football roots. My name is Ken Arney. I was born in Hammond, worked in Hammond, and spent most of my youth in Hammond. I now live in Venice, Florida, but I'm very much hoping that the Chicago Bears will play their games in Hammond. Ken. So I looked it up on the interweb, and no kidding, Papa Bear played for the Hammond Pros. I also stumbled on Wes's video in which he says that it's while he was playing in Hammond that Papa Bear got the idea for professional football. This got me thinking. Here's 24-year-old Papa Bear, a veteran, who just likes knocking heads in the relatively new game called American football. He starts playing in Hammond and has a great time here, goes out drinking, meets people, knocks heads. He loves it. It's a great time in Papa Bear's life. You may have in your heart a place like this. Maybe it's where you went to college or got your first job or when you fell in love, or where you traveled around in a Volkswagen minivan making grilled cheese sandwiches at Grateful Dead concerts. Oh, wait, sorry, that's me. Anyways, there's a place and a time that's become a memory that you really like. But life being what it is, you never really make it back there. To the place or to that you. Next thing you know, you're no longer on this earth. But your spirit is. And it roams around to its favorite places, including that secret place, that secret you, that you always meant to get back to, but never did. Your spirit knows where it wants to go. And in the case of George Papa Bear Halas, that's Hammond, Indiana. The inexplicable pull you're feeling to move the Bears 13 miles south is simply Papa Bear leading you to make the decision, as Ken Arney puts it, to return to the founders' pro football roots. Stan Zygmunt gave me some background here. You get this comment. He was a professor, a physics professor at Valparaiso. I don't know if he's still there or not. I don't know if he retired, but maybe he is. Stan and I known each other for a lot of years, and quite frankly, I probably picked on him a little bit in high school, and I don't know how we're still friends and how he accepts me, but I cannot say enough rosaries for how I treated Stan Zygmunt at times. But anyway, Stan, love you, buddy. Great background story, Jim. These things about the Hammond Pros, who were originally in 1919 called the Hammond All-Stars. All right, I don't know that. All right, here's what he says. Number one, they played in Wrigley before a crowd of 12,000 on Thanksgiving Day, 1919, which gave Halas and others the idea that football had a viable future. They played at least a few games in Hammond at Turner Park. And one of their Hall of Famers was Fritz Pollard, who was one of the first black players and certainly the first black coach in what would become the NFL. His story would be a great one to tell. Thanks a lot to Stan. So, at the same time, all of this is going on, right? the Bears gave the Illinois folks, especially Arlington Heights, the last look. Lawmakers have filed a bill to keep Chicago Bears in Illinois. The tug of war of the Bears continues between Springfield and Indianapolis. Illinois legislators filed a bill late last night, outlining tax breaks for the team in an effort to lure them to Arlington Heights. A tweaked bill would allow a 20-year property tax assessment freeze for mega projects like a new stadium, with the team making what lawmakers are calling a, quote, special payment to the local government. The measure would seem to provide the Bears with the property tax assessment they want in Arlington Heights. This is according to WGN, and we'll get to WGN in a second because they're funny. The measure would seem to provide the Bears with the property tax assessment they want in Arlington Heights. The bill is expected to be brought up this morning in Springfield. In Indiana, lawmakers are expected to send a bill to their governor today, clearing the way to fund a stadium in Hammond. Now, I'm going down there for sports, which is all I really care about. I'm trying to, and this is a sports story, so I do care about it. I know that some of you kind of, get on me about not being on here more, but believe me, Kuziak and I and Starkey and some others are cooking up an afternoon gig, which needs to happen here. So, but people in the morning have to be in the game. Whether you agree with Chuck Pullen or not, he's in the game. Verley's in the game. Dabberton's in the game. Starkey's in the game. Adriana's now in the game. And, I'm not. I'm the sports guy, and I've always have been. I started here with Mike Farkas in 1984, and that's how I got my first job. And somehow I strayed over to be in the morning host and talking politics, and all I really do is anger people, right? And that's okay with me, but all I need to do is allow WJOB to be here. I don't have to be WJOB all the time, although I enjoy it more than anything in the world, other than, maybe knocking my grandkid around a little bit. In a good way, wrestling. He likes to wrestle, okay? Anyways, meanwhile, former Illinois Governor Pat Quinn is wading into the fight, calling on the power of the people to keep the NFL team in the land of Lincoln. He's setting up a, quote, petition drive for Illinois residents to sign on to, pledging their allegiance to a team in the state and not over the border in Indiana. Former Governor Quinn joined political editor Taman Brady. They got a little thing here. Former Governor Quinn is keeping a close eye on the Illinois primary election. He shares his thoughts, blah, blah, blah. All right. So, who the hell is Quinn? You're done, okay? I just want to tell you, I traded for 20 years in the pits of the Board of Trade, and I lived downtown for a little while, and so I know the game. And on a regular, I was the only person in the 5-year pit that was from Indiana. I think somebody else might have lived out at Long Beach, but out of 100 guys, or maybe 98 guys and 2 women, and that kind of circled through there. Maybe there were 60 on a regular basis that traded, but some of the others came and went. It's a pit, and people it was one of the, I think, the third largest pit at the Board of Trade, but it wasn't the 30-year bond pit, but it had more cerebral people that could do spreads and figure out the -2+1s of the world pretty quickly, and I fell into that. So I wound up in the 5-year pit. And I'm pretty sure out of the, let's see, how many years was I in that pit? I was at the mid-am forever, so maybe I was in there 10 years. I don't know. Maybe I was 10 at the mid-am and 10 there, probably 8 there. But anyways, say 8 years in that 5-year pit, I kind of made my way to the major leagues. I traded in the minor leagues for a long time. try to learn my craft and then make enough money to go and trade on my own in the 5-year pit. I mean, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and I rarely talk about it. I don't know why. But I'm starting to talk about it more because I do a podcast called What Makes a Cow Guy Cry, and he talks a lot about it, and it's starting kind of jarring memories. But anyways, I would say a day did not go by in the 20 years I was at the Board of Trade where I did not get made fun of for being from Indiana. And after a while, you just go, oh, yeah, I'm just a hillbilly. Yeah, I married my cousin. Oh, yeah, I drove a truck here today. All this stuff that people would make fun of you for being from Indiana because the Illinois arrogance is palpable. It's just thick, okay? And the arrogance of looking literally down on a map on Indiana and the 750,000 people cannot be overstated. I mean, it was a daily thing. And I just all right, whatever, man. I live in Indiana and I drive up here and I love it and I make a bunch of money here. Or twice I lost all my money and had to come home, and my wife had to take all the clothes over to the laundromat there in Griffith in a red wagon and put one of the kids in there and go over there and do the laundry. I mean, it was up and down. I like that life. I like living on risk and kind of what I'm going down to Indy today for. I like risk and I like getting things done and I like projects and I like driving old cars and even when you do have money, just living like you don't. But anyways, the arrogance that I had to put up with for 20 years was ugly. And that arrogance is coming out right now. In that, oh, Pat Quinn, why would you go? Let's have a petition. Why would you ever go to Illinois? Who does not know their geography? Go down and ride your bike from Soldier Field to Wolf Lake. It's 13 miles. I've done it many times. It's like let's see, if you go 15 miles an hour, you get there in 50 minutes, right? It's a bike ride, and it's basically the east side of Chicago. It's way closer than Arlington Heights, so you could say, all right, I want to do it for Illinois, but don't tell me about it being from Chicago because Wolf Lake is way more Chicago than Arlington Heights will ever be. Really what's controlling this is some of the kind of people that I traded with at the Board of Trade, and that is the snooty North Shore people that not just look down on Indiana. I mean, Arkansas, is higher in their minds than Indiana, and it would be just like the biggest hillbilly thing to do in the world to bring the Bears to Indiana. That's what I got to tell you, and I felt it, and it is, and it gets drug up during all of this. Basically how much like verbal abuse I put up with 20 years for being the only guy in a 100-person pit that was from Indiana. And it was like the running joke. Everybody knew I was from Indiana, and it was like at first you can't really even get accepted. The way to get trades is you got to play golf with people, and you got to marry somebody's cousin or something, and then everybody's in the same clique. Somehow I got into it, partly by having a decent golf game and always bringing my clubs. I always brought my clubs. A lot of times I took the train, but if I drove, I always had my clubs on. And you never know when a couple big traders or brokers are like, hey, dude, we need a fourth. You want to play? And here I am in Algonquin at 8:30 at night drinking Miller Lights just so I could, build my trading company or my trading up. But anyways, after a while, you can develop some friends, and they'll trade with you and so forth. But I was always an outsider. Always an outsider. It would give me great personal satisfaction to see the intelligentsia at the Bears to do the right thing, and that is to return George Halas to his roots in Hammond. Now, I'll put it at about 20%. And, we did, and McDermott did his all, and Braun did his all, and the Indiana legislature. But let me tell you something. That arrogance, that we're better than you, is really strong. I mean, because no matter how bad your life's going in Illinois, at least there's Indiana to kick around, right? And that's what's happening right now in this legislature. Today is the day. Illinois is the Bears are going to done my guess is, by the end of today, we should have a clearer picture. Now, the Bears could be saying, hey, you know what? It's time for a change. It's just right there. It's 13 miles away. It's a much better tax incentive. I mean, you got to remember where you play your games, that's where the players are taxed. And we have a lower tax rate all around. And could you attract better players by moving to Indiana? No one wants to talk about that, but yeah, that's possible. By the end of the day, that 20%, we might have a clearer picture, or we might have a clearer picture that in the end the Bears did exactly what they wanted to do, which was to play Indiana like they did to get Soldier Field refurbished. Remember, they were thinking of coming here. Oh, let's do that. And then somebody, was mid-December, said, hey, man, let's do the same thing again. Who cares? It worked the first time, right? And so that would be the case. I will ask one thing. I have been trying for 2 decades to get the Colts on WJOB. There's a lot more Indianapolis Colts people that are, kind of growing, especially Crown Point. It seems to be a big Colts area. I got a bunch of cousins in Crown Point, and they're all Colts fans. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? They think of themselves as Central Indiana and not the region, right? But anyways, so I've been trying for a long time, and recently the Colts have come up with a program where they give you $5 or $10,000 if you start up girls flag football, and they've given it to a number of high schools here. But there's one thing we cannot do. We can give all money, and we can give our tax money to the stadium authority, we can support any other governmental programs they've used to build Lucas Oil and operate it and promote the Colts. But one thing we cannot do, and that is we cannot have the Colts on WJOB. Now, as one person in the Colts organization put it, say there is a gentleman's agreement between the McCaskies and the Ursays that Northwest Indiana is Bears territory. Well, as soon as the Colts came in here and gave everybody a bunch of money to start up flag football, kind of changed that a little bit, I think. And then if the Bears decide to go to Arlington Heights, I just ask one thing. I'll be a diehard Bears fan until I die, I promise. I just want you to release that gentleman's agreement. Okay, I had the lawyers look at it. They're like, yeah, you could probably take it to court and probably beat them on antitrust violation. But do you know how much that would cost? I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to put the Colts on WJOB. People want to hear the Colts. And I asked the Bears one time, and they did not want to do that. They did not want the Colts on WJOB in Hammond, Indiana. So we are caught. We are Bears territory, and we'll see what happens today. Make no mistake about it, Bears, if you come here to Hammond, we will be behind you. Don't listen to Pullen or Verley or any of that stuff. Eventually people will come around and be behind you. All right? I guarantee it. All right. I'll be right back on the voice and face of the Calumet region. Nicole, what do you think? Nicole! Get out of the shower and tell me what you think. All right, what color is that one? That one's tan. So that's this, right?
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Are you sausage curious?
Who's ready for Polish?
Big Frank Sausage has the very best Polish food in the region.
You had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage?
We have a full bar, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, and catering available.
I've had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
I've got a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie.
Who's ready for Polish?
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
Sorry about that. I cut that off. Hey, guys, 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good to Bishop Ford. That looks good. The Dan Ryan's a little bit heavy. All the way up. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65, they're all moving along pretty well. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. In terms of the weather, all over the place. Sorry about that. I have a little short. There it is. And in terms of the weather, it is a high of 44 today. Right now it's 25 degrees here at the Strack and Van Til Studios. Periods of clouds and sun and a high of 44. Not a bad day. Like I said, I'm going down to the NFL Combine today to check it out. I've never been. And I got some little VIP tickets. And then I'm going to a couple of seminars after on sports technology. And so I'll be there. And tomorrow will be Bob Starkey and Adriana Alvarez. And I don't know, I think they're trying to get a couple of special guests about the Bears thing. And we'll see if they do. Friday, mostly sunny, breezy, and warmer, and a high of 64. And then by Saturday, a high of 37 degrees. Much colder on Saturday with thick cloud cover, a bit of snow in the afternoon, accumulating a coating up to an inch. And then by Sunday, cloudy and cold, and a high of 30. So, and that's here. Actually, most of the area will be high in the high 20s. So we'll have like basically a summer day tomorrow, and then by Sunday it'll be winter. How do you feel about that, huh? They're talking about the Bears today in both the Illinois and Indiana legislatures. You can read my take on it. If I get any information, I'll put it up on my Substack. I've kind of gone to that as my method of communicating, and I like it. And Kuziak and I, I'm slowly, there's a lot of people that know the issues a lot better than I do, and they're into it. And there's 6 or 7 of them, including Brent Brazier too, and not Kuziak. He's like me. He wants to have a little bit more time and a little bit more, but so we're in the process of basically redoing WJOB. If you know the history here, for the last 5 years, we have built the Heartland Sports Network, and we're going into sectionals, and it's really kind of cheap. We make it kind of cheap to maybe get a few new people on, but you want to get in on it, email Sam at heartlandsportsnet.com. I think the lowest is like $600, and throw $600 in, you have TV commercials, radio commercials, you'll be on Purdue games, you'll be on sectionals, regionals, semi-states. You'll even get a play during my show if you want. But you gotta buck up and join the team. The pivot to local is real. Make no mistake about it. I'm going down to Sports Tech conference today, and there's other people that are seeing the same thing I am, that local businesses want to have TV commercials on high school games, and it's great advertising. And you hear the names here of people that do it, and they're not new to the business world. A lot of these folks, so follow them and follow that money, and buy a few spots on it. But anyways, for the last 5 years, we've been building that, and now we've kind of turned our attention back to building a brand new studio, which is my first show here is ever in it today, right now. It's a big TV studio, and with all the highest level stuff and all the robotic cameras and all that stuff. And I want to say a special thanks to Bob Starkey. He took it, and I don't know what, he's into building studios, and he just built it. There's all these cameras, all these brand new lights. He even bought some of it himself. So I don't know, it wouldn't have happened at this level of niceness without Bob Starkey, and we'll just leave it at that. So if you have any suggestions on what we should be doing, you noticed Larry Kyleman gave us some of the Preacher's old shows, and we're starting to play some of those, and then we have some other people, some other old shows from people that are no longer here, including Rick Federici. But what do you want to hear? All you got to do is let me know at Jed at WJOB 12. You know what? Not me. Just send it to me. I'll send it out. Jed at WJOB1230.com. There's a lot of you waiting, and what I'm going to do is at some point I'm going to take. I don't have my old phone system yet. I got this new one, and it allows I think 5 people to be on wait at a time. The other one had let you, I think, 4 people would be the total, but it's filled right now, and so I'm going to move some of your guys through some of your phone calls, including yours. Hey, how are you? What's going on?
Very good. Very good. Is this Jed?
Yes. Can you talk for a second so I could take a bite of my pumpkin bread? All right, go ahead.
I'm just calling to put a plug in. Calumet High School is dedicating our new remodeled field house and gym floor tomorrow night, and the court is being named in honor of 2 men who won over 600 games and ran the basketball program there for 49 years, Chris and Carl Trikoff. And family members are going to be there tomorrow to take part in the festivities. It's been delayed. They wanted to do this at the beginning of the season, but a lot of the construction snafus and things didn't get done. So tomorrow night, before the Andrean game, they're actually dedicating the floor. It's a spectacular, new facility. And they're also dedicating some of the championship banners and team banners that have been redone and updated. It's going to be a pretty special event, and I'm trying to get as much news out as I can to alums and coaches and people in the region who maybe played in the Calumet sectional over the years. I know you're one of those gentlemen, and I'm going to shoot you an email when I get to work today. If you could, I'd like you to bombard the region as much as I have been. I just want to get the word out. I don't want people to find out Monday that they missed this dedication.
All right, 2 things, okay? One, email it to Sam at heartlandsportsnet.com, and
okay.
He'll see what he could do. Maybe he could post it. And then also Peter at heartlandsportsnet.com. Peter Krakowski, like everybody else, got a job for double the money here or triple the money, and he's leaving us. But he's still helping out until his job starts. So Sam and Peter, you send it to them. They'll get it up on Facebook. I think we have 43,000 Facebook followers, and that usually is a pretty good way to do it. I do have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Carl Trikoff, I knew. Now, is he still alive?
No, Carl passed away in 2015.
Okay.
He coached for 6 years in Missouri, and then he coached here for 28. And then he came back about 9 years later and won a conference championship in his only season back. But, yeah, he passed in 2015.
Now, I've seen some competitors in my life. I mean, people that that's all they know is everything is, we got to do our best. We don't have to win, but we have to do our best. I'll tell you, the biggest competitor right now that I think is in the region, 2 of them, actually 3 of them, is Buzz Greg Bouzia at Crown Point. He's had cancer and he's kind of mellowed, but he's still an animal. Hackett at Munster is an animal, and so is Pischker at Andrean. They have this drive that is higher that you can't teach or anything. It's just there, and they're just crazy about doing the best that you can. But the person I met in my life that embodies it the most was Carl Trykoff. And
he was intense. That's an understatement.
Intense. I mean, played go ahead.
The thing people don't know about Carl, as spectacular a coach as he was, most of the impact that Carl Trykoff had at Calumet High School was in the classroom. He made such a profound impact as a teacher. He taught a course called Current Issues in Life. Kids were fighting to get into that class. And it was not a class that was a blow-off being taught by some jock coach. These kids had to sit up. He would pinch them as he walked around if they weren't paying attention. I mean, he was hardcore. And to this day, people still have their canvas blue folders with all of their Mad Macedonian quotations and words to live by.
Exactly.
His widow is still living in Highland.
And the thing, I had several conversations with Carl Trykoff over the years. One was when Calumet beat us when I was a senior in the final of the sectional game, or I can't remember what level it was, but they beat us. Willie Cross's little brother, I think, was the guy. He was really good.
Yes, Sid he was a classmate of mine, in fact.
What was his name? First name?
Sid Cross.
Sid Cross. Sid Cross. I saw Willie at the sportsmanship banquet Monday, by the way, and I talked to him for a little while.
Another outstanding dude.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say. But anyways, Trykoff, when he sat there, every time that he didn't like something or he wanted to get up, he'd jam his feet back, right? And then where he sat, the bleacher was all messed up and chipped up and, had the back of his shoe print. And they had to fix it every once in a while, right? And it was the craziest thing. You'd go over there to practice before a sectional or play a regular season game or whatever, and you'd look at that, and it would just remind you that people compete at such a high level that they can't control their feet when they go back. Does that make sense? Do you remember that?
He always coached with a towel, and I don't think it was because he was sweating or spitting. He had that towel to eliminate getting a technical foul because he was so into the game and screaming and hollering, and I think he muffled himself to try to limit his the trouble he got into with referees.
Oh, yeah. He would get into with referees and just yell at them. They all knew him, so he could do a lot before he'd get a technical, but he'd get them from time to time. Hey, man.
Yeah.
It's Saturday night or Friday night?
No, it's Friday night. They're going to have a ribbon cutting at 5 o'clock before the JV game, and then they're going to do a biography, kind of a dedication with a video montage for Chris and Carl prior to the varsity game at, I believe, 7 o'clock.
All right, hold on a second. 5 o'clock.
Send all of this.
All right, send all of it to me, and Sam and those guys they'll post it. Okay. All right. Hey, good job on that. You should have got a hold of Sam earlier. That's kind of in the sports world. They kind of run that. But thank you. Better late than never. But let's see if we can't get some people out there to honor Carl Trykoff. All right.
I'm trying to get some of the guys that I don't have contact with on social media. But I thought you'd be a good start. So thanks a lot, Jed. I appreciate all you do for the region, buddy.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Talk to you. I'm sorry, I'm eating as he's doing that. Here we go. Let's take another one. Okay, here you go. Thank you.
Have a good day.
See ya. Bye. Hey, how are you?
Pretty good, Jed.
What's happening?
This whole thing about you being in the game sounds like an Old Spice commercial. And if anybody's been around you, that Old Spice ain't gonna help you any. You know what I'm saying? Remember that? He's in the game and he's holding Old Spice? Don't you remember that?
Now that you mention it,
around you, man.
I do remember it.
You cover up my smell like nothing. You stink pretty bad. But anyways, You stink like you're in the doghouse right now, Jed.
For what? Why am I in the doghouse? My wife and I kissed before I left today. What are you talking about? It's the only doghouse I care about. What are you talking about?
Your real lover is Tom McDermott, and I'm going to try to help you out. Okay?
All right, go ahead. Help me out.
Have you ever sent flowers to a man? Well, it's time you should. I think you should send some flowers.
All right, what are you talking about? Now, you and about 20 other people sent me a text that the mayor was mad at me. I haven't seen it. What was it all about?
Well, first of all, I can't put it on YouTube. What Mayor Tom said on his podcast at the 28-minute mark. There's so many F-bombs against you, Verley, Michelle Quinn, and Chuck. I couldn't put it on YouTube. They'd take me off. I mean, he F-bombed you. It's bigger than the peant thing. Remember when he called Verley the peant thing? This is big, Jed. You got to make up to him. And if I was a host, I would have people call in and say, what could Jed do to make male lover Tom McDermott? Now, see, me and the mayor, we go to breakfast, right? I could probably patch this whole thing up, but it's going to take a while. So somehow you guys railed, and this ain't all about you, Jed. I think he railed on Burley the most, that about the Bears Stadium. You know, I'm actually for the Bears Stadium because they could have Supercross there, and maybe the Potomac bubble could pop up, and the boys could jump it. But, boy, he was really hot.
Hold on a second, MX. Hold on. Wes and Dave Satkowski, could you shut the – I mean, this is a studio, okay? You haven't seen each other. Just say hello silently to each other and sit down, please. Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, MX. Continue on.
Is Wes in the studio?
Wes is here. He's making a bunch of noise. Go ahead.
Well, could you ask him if he'd accept a motocrosser in the Hall of Fame? A real fast one? Tell him. No, seriously. Google Perry Stabler, Hammond, Indiana. Ranked high in the region. National events. But anyways, put your arms down, Jed. I can smell it right through the TV. You're in the game, buddy. You're in the game.
I got to go, man. I got to take some calls. Bye. Whoa. Where'd that creature crawl out of, huh? David, how are you? David, I want to say hello to you. How's it going, buddy? Bears are coming to Arlington.
How do I follow that?
I don't know. Are the Bears coming to Arlington or are they coming to Hammond? Which one?
Wouldn't surprise me if they end up in Hammond, but
I would love that, and so would you.
So, but you know what? I'm still if they're going to go for the novelty factor, blame it all on my roots. George Hallis is wanting to go back to Hammond.
Thank you.
Speaking of the spirit, I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to be going back to Top Park and Griffith when I die.
David, I got a bunch of people. Thank you, buddy. I'll talk to you. 219-845-1100. He's right. George Hallis' spirit wants to come back to Hammond. Hey, you're on the air. What are you doing?
I'll tell you what, man. Perry's absolutely correct. McDermott lit you up, my friend, and I don't think you're going to patch this one up. He said you can kiss his you-know-what when the Bears build that stadium in Hammond. And about that stadium in Hammond, let me ask you something, Jimmy. All the elected officials, upon leaving office, they want to leave their legacy. You know what Satkowski's is? It's that Westlake train that doesn't even work. That's his legacy. Your cousin busted his ass to put in that Lost Marsh golf course and all that development around there. It could be argued that that's Dwayne Dedelow's legacy in Hammond. It's got to bug you a little bit that McDermott's contemplating putting D8 bulldozers out there and ripping down that clubhouse and all that hard work, all that love, and everything else that your cousin put into that development. He's going to rip all that down.
Well, let's take them in order. All right, hold on. I got you. You now you got to be quiet for a second. Okay, so let's take them in order. First of all, personally, I want the Bears to come here as much as anybody in the entire region for a number of reasons. Mostly
but at what cost?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. But here's what I learned, okay? I learned that when I come out for a project, and Colby taught me this. He's like, no, you can't. If you really want something to happen, you have to not come out for it. And I go, what are you talking about, Mr. Colby? And he said, because every day you go on there, now you're the lightning rod for all the criticism for that project, right? And I learned that I came out one time in the train in the beginning, and I said, I think it's a pretty good idea. And for 2 years, I took calls about why it was such a bad idea and what a loser I am, okay? And I get it. And Colby was right. Every time I stray away from Colby's directives when I worked here, it does not work out for me. So personally, I want the Bears to come. I don't care what the McDermott thing and F. Dedelow and all that stuff. All that stuff, it just has been going on for decades. It's been going on for decades, and it goes before me. It goes back to my cousin and McDermott's. I'm not worried about that. I want the Bears to come here. I went to that sportsmanship dinner, and I got everybody to go, "Duh, Bears!" And it's a beautiful little piece there. But if I come out and I say, hey, let's go for the Bears, and let's push for it, and then all of a sudden I'm the lightning rod, and then it gives a platform for all the negative people to the project. That's just how it works. And so personally, I'm in. Okay, I'll do whatever is needed. But everybody that has a positive or anybody who has a positive or negative toward the Bears has the right to say what they want to say, because that's what we do. But anyways, go ahead. What's your response to that?
Jimmy, and I know what the truth is, and I would have more respect for you if you just came out and said, I don't want McDermott leveling with my cousin Bilton Hammond.
No, that's not true. That is not true. Here's the thing that you don't realize about this. All right, listen about this. You know this because you do projects, right? And you're good at it, and I know that, and I know what you do, and I know people that have worked around you and watched you do projects. Okay, so here's the my cousin wanted the Lost Marsh golf course, right? And then he fought, and then it was overruns. But then they go to build it, and they dig down, and they don't realize that there's slag everywhere, and it is hardened, and they have to bring in special bulldozers to pull it up, and it costs millions more than they ever thought it would. McDermott comes along, he brings it up in the election, and my cousin loses, okay? But here's what you got to remember, is that golf course is already cleaned of all that stuff. They could build on it tomorrow really easily. And if the sacrifice was personally, this is not the position of WJOB or anything, it's just me personally. I would love it if they could fit that there and just rip up the driving range and the executive course and leave the golf course. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. If they had to, if the trade-off was the Bears or digging up Lost Marsh, personally, I would choose the Bears.
Well, I'll leave it at this, and I would love to get Dwayne's perspective on this, be it that beautiful development out there is his legacy. They named a flipping street after him over there. I'd like to hear Dwayne's perspective on this. I got to go.
Bye. He doesn't like talking in the public anymore. He's would have been a priest if they allowed him to marry, but he is a deacon in the Catholic Church, and I can't swear around him, so we don't talk much. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, is Jed there?
Hey, I've known you for a long time. This is the first time. I didn't realize you guys lost to Calumet your senior year.
God, Sid Cross and
Was that an upset? What were you guys ranked? You guys had to be ranked in the top. Weren't you guys ranked in the top 20?
It's all a blur, Kuziak. I don't remember. I remember this when I was a sophomore. We were number 2 in the state, and I was the starting guard. And every time I walked on the floor, I almost peed my pants because there's so many people there. I remember that. But anyways, what's up, man?
I just want to say, remember we had the conversation. My buddy in Illinois was spot on that Cam Buckner is going to be the guy. I mean, I just find this kind of. Don't you find this a little entertaining that everyone's getting all wound up over a business deal that they really don't have anything to do with?
No, I do think everyone should be wound up. I'm wound up. I mean, McDermott and Braun, I thought they did a pretty good job. I mean, outside of the mayor throwing, I guess, 25 F-bombs at me yesterday, whatever. I thought they did a good job.
That's been going on since you two.
Yeah.
That's been going on since you.
It's got to be boring for people at some point when two people are just like publicly spatting at times. But I thought they did a good job. I think we put our first foot forward. I saw that one woman did a huge piece on the fact that the Bears are going to come back to their roots, and we're going to talk with Wes Lukosius about that. If they come back to Hammond, they're just coming back home, and that's it. So I'm very excited.
It's a business deal. If it works out for them, God bless them. If it doesn't, they're doing what business people do. They're trying to get the best deal. I'll leave you with this. On Monday, we were at the sportsmanship dinner, and I introduced your father to Aaron McDermott, and I said the Dedos and the McDermotts, and you know what your dad told Aaron? We were part of the Republican, the JCs, which were the Republican that helped support your father the first time he ran for mayor. So this is just the next generation churning it up. But at the beginning, and you know this, the JCs was a Republican group that was the one that actually had helped Mayor Tom McDermott Sr. beat Mayor Satkowski. So, I mean, is this just the next iteration? You two need to go to a deadhead together and get high and work it all out. You know what I'm saying?
What are you doing, Kuziak? What is wrong with you? There's little kids on the way to school, and you're talking, hey, go get high. What? Hey, Kuziak, can I break some news here and say to people that you're eventually going to be on the air again in the afternoons, and like we're going to see low-key Kuziak? Is that possible? Satkowski's laughing his ass off over here.
I'd like to talk about things like we used to, which is a region roundtable where we talk about things like this topic, like others. We've been in many different iterations, and the morning iteration for me is done, and that's fine. Gosh, you brought back Federici and Friends. That brings back a lot of good times. Kuziak.
I need tapes, Kuz.
And the Kuz. So.
I need tapes.
So the next thing is you bring guys like that where we could actually have some meaningful conversation in the afternoon, probably not including phone calls, and then you could turn it right into a podcast. But just like the next thing you're going to do with Satkowski and Lukosius, I mean, those are the type of guys that we want to come on and have people like your dad on, or people in the region that want to talk about meaningful things that move this area forward, and that's what I want to be a part of. So it's all good. It's been great, brother. I appreciate it, and it's always interesting to listen to you in the morning.
All right, hey, Kuz, I do want to bring something up, and Aaron and my dad talking, I was glad they talked at Sportsmanship. But now that I think about it, I'm okay with the mayor saying, you know, F Jim Dedelow over and over, and I didn't see it, but whatever. But now that I think about it, that's my dad's name, and I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I mean? You don't want to say you can't. Maybe you got to go. You know what? If he's going to do that, if you're going to,
I think Tom, and you guys, if you guys remember back in the day, I gave both you guys a beer at that same station where you're at in the other room in the other studio when you guys made up. And you guys go at it, then you make up, then you go at it, then you make up, and you're in your 60s, and I'm almost 60. At the end of the day, and I know how you feel, if you guys are friends, that's good. If you're not, that's good too, right? I mean, are you losing any sleep over any of this as you're 64 or whatever?
That's a rhetorical question. We got to go. Thanks a lot, man. I got Wes over here. Thank you so much. You know what? I don't know what you want to do. You run this thing. Tell me. All right, we need a break. That's according to Adriana Alvarez. I'm going to go out on the main stage here. We are at the very first time I'm ever doing a show here in this brand new studio, and I'm a little bit lost, but Adriana's going to take over, so all those little mistakes will be done. All right, up next on the Voice and Face of the Region.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apology apologizes and welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its third generation providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
Good morning, everyone. You are listening to The Morning Show on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. We're going to get started just in a little bit, but first we are going to do an update on traffic and weather. So let's get it to where you guys can see us. Good morning. So let's see here. Currently, right now at the Strachan Van Til Studios, it is 24 degrees today. We are seeing highs of 44 degrees and lows of 32 degrees. Periods of clouds and sunshine throughout the morning and clear skies for tonight. Friday, it is saying that we're going to see a high of 64 degrees and a low of 30 degrees. And that is going to be accompanied by just some sunshine, breezy, warm weather, partly cloudy in the nighttime. Saturday, going on into the weekend, we're seeing highs of 37 degrees and lows of 24 degrees. Little afternoon snow and snow early in the evening. So those 60-degree temperatures don't last long, but we may see those again coming into later on in the week, but we're going to get those 30-degree weathers for the rest of the weekend into the start of next week. Jim's not back yet, so we're going to do traffic right now. Traffic in the northwest region is looking pretty good. 65 going north and south is looking good. 80 going east and west, and 90 going east and west is looking good. We do got an accident on the Bishop Ford, I-94 west before Illinois 83, Sibley Boulevard, exit 71. That was reported and updated about 6 minutes ago. So again, that is on the Bishop Ford going west if you are headed in that direction. Then we're also seeing a little bit of traffic there on the connector of the Bishop Ford Dan Ryan, and that is headed west again on 94. Again, that earlier accident on the Dan Ryan express lanes north before Garfield Boulevard, those are getting cleared up a little bit here and there. And Stevenson is looking a little busy going north. Do you want to take over traffic, or are you getting settled?
I'm fine. Yeah, 290. Yeah, it's really just the Bishop Ford or the Dan Ryan that's been a problem every morning. Just to make it clear, we don't need to do the Stevenson or any of those other ones.
What if people are headed that way?
Nobody's headed that way.
Brent Brazier is. He was telling me, he's like, I like when you do traffic. You tell the places I gotta go.
I just tell you, I have a podcast set up with Sean Kinsey for today.
Yes.
The Hammond Athletic Director at 1 o'clock. I canceled that because I'm going to the NFL Combine.
I know, I heard. Joe was like, he didn't get enough tickets. I was like,
Hunter Lorenzik of, remember he played at Bishop Knoll? He works here. He and I are going down.
There you go.
And he's so excited. Called off his job. Probably I'm getting him in trouble. Probably the Menards manager's listening. I thought he was sick. I'm taking him to the NFL Combine today. All right, I need to do what else? Any other announcements I got to make? The guy called in, Calumet, tomorrow night they're going to dedicate Calumet to Carl Treikoff, and that's a pretty cool thing. Do you have any announcements?
Not at the moment that I can think of. The new Cow Guy podcast released today. So after the show, if you guys want to go listen on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcast, and or if you want to see it on YouTube, we have them posted. And those have been a big hit, as what I've heard. So
yeah, they are a big hit. And I got to tell you, the Cow Guy is a national figure. And I told him, I said, listen, he's shopping his podcast around, and all of the major services wanted him. And Adriana, I told him, I said, listen, if you come here, you and I both are going to be told by a 22-year-old senior in college on what we're supposed to do and how to do it. And he went around and he shopped it around, and he calls me back. He goes, I'm in. And I go, well, why are you in, man? This is kind of odd. He goes, well, I went and talked to all the 20-somethings in my office, and they said, you need to go with somebody young and new and innovative and not just one of these old podcast services. So the Cow Guy podcast, I do it with him. Essentially, it's about healing from trauma. Mm-hmm. And this big galunk is opening up, and it is so sad at times. And I can't believe he's being that. So he learned how to talk about the death of his daughter with me on this podcast. I'll just say it how it is. And so they hired him for an ungodly amount of money on Saturday to talk to all the farmers in Nebraska. And then one of the guys had heard the podcast, and they go, okay, we want you to talk half the time about finances and the other half, we want you to talk about your personal saga. Mm-hmm. So now he's going around talking about it, and it all starts from the podcast that you did.
And if you guys want to see that, will be posted every Thursday. 6 in the morning. Those will be posted every Thursday at 6 in the morning.
I did not know that.
Yeah, well,
I posted one when I wasn't supposed to.
What you doing? But it's okay. They are all up there, and the one that you guys just did yesterday is cut up, ready to go for next Thursday to be posted. It's already in the queue. So if you guys want to check out that podcast, it's a really powerful podcast. I was listening to it while editing, and I'm like, this guy's going to make me cry, and I don't even know him.
So the reason, the shameless plug is that like we brought on Matt Maloney one time. He was also a trader, and Matt has learned how to come out of being kind of a partying board of trade guy to being a sober dude, and he talked about his sobriety and what he went through and how all three of us were basically lucky to be alive as former traders. But if anybody, we need someone that knows grief and recovering from grief and what the stages are, and can come on the podcast with me and the Cow Guy. Maybe a psychologist or something like that. If you just want to appear on a podcast, go watch What Makes the Cow Guy Cry, and just let me know if you want to come on and kind of analyze what the Cow Guy's gone through. And then we try to offer steps for people that have dealt with grief or trauma and how you get through it. And it is pretty powerful. I didn't realize that was what it was going to be. And all of a sudden, I'm back to my counselor days. But I love it, and it's a great podcast. I'll also be doing 2 podcasts right here at 9:05 and 9:35 today, Mastering Local Marketing with Matt Hansen, who is supposed to go to the NFL Combine with me, but he bowed out at the last minute, and Hunter Lorenzik got the ticket. So there it is. Let's start this segment now. Are we good?
Yes, you guys are good to go.
Hey, everybody, thanks. You can get this podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Just go type in Jim Dedelow. Adriana will post it. Dave Satkowski, how are you?
Going good, Jim.
And your name?
Wes Lukosius.
All right, keep saying it again. She wants to adjust your audio.
Wes Lukosius, and I have to apologize. I walk into the studio. It's not at all the place it used to be, and I'm saying hello to folks, so I apologize. Put a sign on the door, though, say, we're live program, be quiet.
I don't know if you necessarily know how to do that at WJOB, but if you were listening to the last segment, I'm talking to people, really kind of in-depth conversation, and you're over here going, "Hey, Dave, how are you? Thanks, Adriana. The place looks great." I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm on the radio. You were on the radio for, 35 years or something?
Give or take.
Yeah. And I'm like, he knows what it's like to do a show when someone's talking over there.
Yeah, but when I came into this building last, this studio was down the hall somewhere, so I thought I was safe. I was in safe territory. So congratulations. That won't happen again.
Hey,
my bad.
Wes Lukosius, you had a show how many years?
32. The years I spent at Purdue Northwest, Purdue Calumet.
And what was it called?
Purdue Calumet, then Purdue Northwest Sports Insights.
So, Adriana, I bring this up. Mm-hmm. He has 32 years of tape of his show here. He does. Mm-hmm. And I know what you're thinking. And some of them were good. Some were...
I'm sure all of them were good.
Some were awful. You know, they had to do like the promo, the university's speech department or something like that, and he had to do that once in a while. But once in a while, he'd get some really good historical interviews. Frank Kendrick.
Okay, yeah.
Certainly John Friend was part of it, so hearing him, John Friend, my mentor, was part of it. Who were some of the other big interviews?
Well, you know, we used to do a lot of Purdue stuff, so we'd have, you know, the coaches on, Matt Painter and Gene Cady, previous football
Tiller.
coach. Yeah, we had Tiller on. They'd come down to the Purdue used to have a golf outing at Briar Ridge, and we'd go down there and do some cuts for some interviews that way.
Anybody else?
Oh, man. Over 32 years, I mean, there were all sorts of good folks came in. We had, we had an attorney come in who happened to be a sports financial representative for a number of the Chicago Bears players back in their era, the 1985. We learned a lot of insights to what was going on there.
So I bring that up to you, Adriana, that we need to get those tapes, and she and Lynette right now are putting together all of the old stuff. You hear Preacher stuff that Larry Kyleman gave us. Some of it's not appropriate, the way Preacher talked, you know.
That was on the air?
Yeah.
It's a different time?
It was a different, I mean, do you hear his stuff? I mean, I'm surprised you and Lynette are like, no, we're not going to play that because he's...
Screen it. Yeah, we're going to see what we got to do.
He was pretty racy at times, and I was driving around listening the other day, and I'm like, whoa. That came out on my radio station, but it was a different time. All that stuff was 15, 20 years ago. Dave, what do you do?
Well, hey, I'm retired here as far as teaching-wise, but still involved with baseball. We're running the Region Collegiate Baseball League as a commissioner, and that's going real well. And got this call here about a month or two ago about the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, and here I am.
You're going in, man. Wes, what's he going in as?
Well, he's going in as the founder of the Hammond Chiefs, the longtime manager of the Hammond Chiefs. How long? 34. 34 years. I mean, his one-loss record is amazing. But the impact that he's had on young men, high school baseball players, college baseball players, some of them. Have gone on to professional in the major leagues. Last year we were holding meetings and Dave was all over one side of the country, the West Coast or the East Coast, because one of his players was pitching, right?
Yeah, Sean Mania pitches for the Mets, and they had their playoff run, and I was in New York one day and I was in L.A. the next day at the Mets-Dodgers game and following him around.
Do you run into Mania?
Yes. I try to make at least once a year. I'll take a road trip. Last year was Boston because I'd never been to Fenway Park, and then
overrated.
Yeah, it was.
It's overrated. Yeah. It's like I've never been to a game. I've been to a Paul McCartney concert there and went to the bars and all that, and I'm like, I'm sorry, this place is a dump. Yeah. But anyways, go ahead.
But no, I said Mania was pitching for the Mets, and they were in the playoffs, and they had beaten the Dodgers in Game 5, which forced to Game 6, and they had to go back to L.A. So I said, well, what the heck? I'm already on this coast. I might as well go to the West Coast.
You taught in the Hammond schools for how long?
33 years in Hammond.
What'd you do?
Elementary PE. Greatest job in the world. I finished up at Lincoln Elementary up in North Hammond there, across from St. Casimir's, and great time. We had a great staff up there, great principal and Steve Disney at that time, and just a good group of kids, and enjoyed it very much up there.
So you started the Chiefs in what year?
We started in 1991, and that was the first official year. And we actually played out of Riverside, not out of Riverside Park that first year. We were at Edison Babe Ruth, which was on Calumet Avenue, right where the Edison School is now. That field's no longer there. And then we started building Riverside Park in '92, and our first game was there in '93.
So you're the commissioner of what now?
The Region Collegiate Baseball League.
How many people? How many teams?
4 teams.
Who are they?
We have the team out of Crown Point, the Corn Dogs, Lake County Corn Dogs. We have a team out of Valparaiso, the Valparaiso Post team. They play at Valparaiso High School. And then we have the Beavers team. They're going to be playing at Munster High School this year, the Little Calumet Beavers out of Munster High School.
You're making that up.
I'm not making that up.
Is that from listening to one of my segments here when we did the Beaver segment?
Very well may be.
Hey, Adriana, when you're looking at old stuff, you cannot ever play the Little Calumet Beaver segment that Billy Baker and I did because it was not appropriate for primetime listening, and you guys went ahead and named it that. That's really cool.
I had nothing to do with it.
All right, and then where's the fourth team?
St. John, the team out of St. John. They're going to be called South Lake. They're going to play out of the Heritage Sports Complex out there, right off of White Oak Avenue where the ice rink is, and that's going to be their home field.
So there's nobody at Riverside?
No, nobody at Riverside right now.
Okay, now a lot of people associate you with that field. Why?
Well, we were fortunate back in the early 90s to have Mayor McDermott Sr. at that time. We had been playing at Edison Babe Ruth Field over there in Calumet, and they were building a new school. And we didn't know where we were going to go, and they offered us Riverside Park, and they helped us build it. And we got all the trades together, the iron workers and Butch Blevins and those guys with all the unions, and we were able to put together a field at Riverside Park, and we were there for almost 25 years. One or two of the
best pure hitters you ever had?
Pound for pound, I would say Ryan Basham.
Okay.
Out of Lowell.
Yep.
And played at Michigan State, and then eventually was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays, and just pound for pound, left-handed hitter, sweetest swing you'd ever want to see, and I would say one of the most purest hitters we ever had.
Toughest pitcher?
Man, there are a lot of good ones. You think of Mania because, of course, but Mania came into his own when he actually went to Indiana State. And his big break was he went to the Cape Cod League and got seen out there, and he ended up being a pitcher of the year, and next thing you know, he's getting drafted. But, man, I tell you, there are a lot of good ones. We were very fortunate to have a lot of good kids.
Give us a couple names. Just a couple names. I know you don't want to, short anybody.
I mean,
what about right-handers?
Dan Faulkner, he was a Hammond kid out of Bishop Knoll.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. Man, he was tough.
He was tough.
I thought he did a really nice run in one of the state tournaments.
He was drafted.
Yeah.
We had a pitcher by the name of Neil Friendling. He was out of Lake Central.
Yep.
He also happened to get drafted, and I mean, like I said, we were very fortunate. We had a lot of really good baseball players.
Are you going to cry when they induct you into the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame?
I hope not. But it's a great honor. It's a tremendous honor. I mean, people don't realize 40 years of history, the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, and if you walk through that Civic Center and you just go up and down the hall and look at those plaques and the history that's in there, it's just it's a tremendous place, and it's a tremendous honor to be a part of that.
Wes, you have done a lot of work with this. I mean, obviously you're the driving force and with a bunch of other people. Who's in this year's class other than Dave?
Well, we have 5. Induction class of 5. This will be March the 10th, Tuesday evening, March the 10th at the Civic Center. So Dave Borbely, Hammond High guy, played football, 3 sports at Hammond High, went to DePaul, but maybe Dave's claim to fame is that he became an amazing college football coach with some of the top programs in the country, offensive line coach, and so for just a collection of his sports activities, he's being inducted. Charles Cook, who was a classmate of his at Hammond High. Charles was a Hammond High speedy football player and a track and field guy who was a runner-up in the Indiana High School Athletic Association track and field meet his senior year, and then he went on to compete at Western New Mexico University. Brenda Pennington is a women's basketball player who started at Bishop Knoll and then went on to play at the NAI level. Great player. Of course, Dave, and then Sonchun White, who was a women's basketball player at Hammond High, who would eventually go on to play at the University of South Carolina. So that's our class of 5, and we're looking forward to honoring them. But this being the 40th anniversary of the Hall of Fame, we wanted to do a couple of different things as well. So we got involved with this notion of Hammond's sports legacy. Some great things have happened over the years. What is the greatest sports achievement in the history of Hammond? And so our committee, kind of boiled it down to 5, and we have a link on our website where we're inviting folks, Hammond residents, former residents, Lake County residents, to weigh in and vote as to, which of these 5 would they vote for as the greatest sports achievement, in the history of Hammond.
That's Wes Lukosius, and Wes is the driving force with the committee behind the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, March 10th. Now, like us with the sportsmanship committee, it's kind of in the same world. We were really fortunate. We had a lot of good energy, and we sold a lot of tickets. You guys are nearly sold out, right?
Well, we're going very well, and this is actually kind of a momentous year because we're going online, as so many institutions are and entities. So for now, tickets are on sale only on an online basis. You go to our website at hammondsportshalloffame.com. There's a link. You can purchase tickets, but we're going fast because guys like Dave here Dave has so many great supporters that they're flourishing in and they're buying tables, and so Dave's going to have a great a contingent there. We have 1 or 2 others of our inductees who are also attracting a lot of support. So the idea here is that we kind of wanted to gradually move into this online ticket thing, and so we're selling tickets online through March the 1st, and then effective on March the 2nd, the tickets will be available only by printed tickets at the Civic Center. You have to buy printed tickets. If you're uncomfortable going the online route, we wanted to provide an option for tickets, but we may be sold out by March the 1st.
So that's why I wanted to bring this up. Especially if you want to go with Satkowski, and a lot of people will want to be out there. I do want to plug is going to be put online. I mean, if it does get sold out, we don't do a ton of business with them, but I have in the past. Region Sports will be streaming it live, correctly, and we'll promo that as it gets closer, both for the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, and we want everyone we want more people to be in the sports world. We had an amazing Monday night sportsmanship dinner, and thanks for coming out. It really was. I don't know what the great energy was about, but I think people are kind of really glomming on to high school sports, and there's some real momentum. And you're seeing it, we're seeing it. And there's another guy that's going to see it. There should be a call up there that starts with 924. Can you bring that in right now? He wants to give a special thank you to Dave Satkowski, and that is Brian Jennings. He's at Griffith High School. Brian, how are you? Is he on yet there, Adriana? All right, now he is. Brian, what's up? Jennings. What's wrong, Adriana? Did you push the thing up on the board?
No, it showed me he was on there.
All right, well, hang up and make him call back again, okay? There you go.
There he goes. Talk. There we are.
Is he on now? Tell me what.
Yep.
All right. Hey, Jennings, are you there? No. All right, hang up on it. Have him do it again. Yeah. And then put him on your phone before you bring him in. Okay. So you got it on March 10th, and you have Satkowski coming in. Can we move to another topic?
Absolutely.
I saw that you were interviewed recently about the Bears and the Hammond Pros and the Hammond All-Stars and the history of George Hallis getting his start in Hammond. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a really interesting story. The National Football League was established officially in 1920. And as the American Professional Football Association, and then 2 years later in 1922 renamed the National Football League. So Thanksgiving Day of 1919, the Hammond Pros, a professional football team, not affiliated with a league that we knew of, was scheduled to play a game against the Canton Bulldogs, Canton, Ohio Bulldogs, led by the great Jim Thorpe. So Canton comes into town, they take the train in, and the train breaks down at the city limits of Chicago. And so the Canton Bulldogs, with all their gear and whatnot, they've got to find a way to get to Cubs Park, which is what Wrigley Field was called at the time. That's where the Hammond Pros, by and large, played most of their home games. So they take the L, and they get to Cubs Park, Wrigley Field, to play this game. And the Bulldogs are a very highly respected team in this Ohio League. Hammond, pretty much a travel team. Not, they exist, but not really with a lot of fanfare. So they play a game. And the game ends in a 3-3 tie, all right? But the bigger statistic of the day was that about 12,000 people showed up for the game, bought tickets, came to the game. Well, one of the players on the Hammond Pros that Thanksgiving Day was a guy named George Hallis. Now, I don't have any documentation as to how many games he played for the Pros, but he played for the Pros on that Thanksgiving Day of 1919. And after the game, he writes a letter to the owner of the Canton Bulldogs and says, you know what, we had 12,000 people come to this game here, and on Thanksgiving Day delayed their Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe the time is right for a number of us to sit down around the table and talk about forming a singular league, because there are pro football leagues all over the place in the Midwest and so on. So a meeting eventually took place in August of 1920. Had another meeting in the next month in September, and within a couple of weeks after that second meeting, the American Professional Football Association, i.e. National Football League, started play in the 1920s. So there are a lot of folks who give George Hallis a great deal of credit for getting the ball moving and the league forming, and he did this after having played a game wearing Hammond Pros uniform.
Let's get a perspective of a guy out of Whiting. Are we going to be able to get him on this time?
He's on. It says that he is there. He's
Hey,
been on
Jennings, are you on here with us? He is not. Let me fix this thing.
I told you.
Who?
He's there. Oh, there he is.
All right, try to talk to him.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yes, he is. Told you. He is there. He's messing with you.
You were messing with me because you know I'm going to get hot, and I did. I'm like, what is going on? Jennings, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, you're doing it again. You're such a loser. I'm sorry. You did that on purpose.
Hello, are you on?
Oh, God. Now we got to edit
Oh, wait
that.
a minute. You got Satkowski in there.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. Before we talk to him, I want your perspective as a longtime Whiting guy. Yes or no on the Bears coming to Wolf Lake?
It's not going to happen.
That's not what I'm asking. Would you want it to happen?
Not going to. Oh, I think it would be cool. I mean, my dad lives, about 3 minutes from where the stadium would be, so that would be cool. I got a good parking spot if I want to get to a game, but I think it's and I can respect what Tom's doing, Mayor Tom, and everybody trying to get him here in Indiana, but I just think that, unfortunately, this is like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when they used Northwest Indiana as a bargaining chip to, get Soldier Field renovated back then.
Well, I knew that I hadn't talked to Jennings about this, but I had a feeling that's what he was going to say. Dave Satkowski's going into the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame. Both you and I, both longtime good friends. What can you say about Satkowski that makes him a viable credible?
Well, I think you can summarize Dave Satkowski in 2 words: loyal and dedicated. He's a guy who, gave his professional life and his personal life to Hammond for many years, and when I would travel with the Chiefs with Dave, we'd go all over the country, and people knew where Hammond, Indiana was because they knew the Hammond Chiefs and they knew Dave. And I think he's been a great ambassador for the city of Hammond and for baseball in the region, and I'm honored to be his friend. I've known him since I was about 10 years old when he was refereeing my basketball games as a grade school kid at Sacred Heart in Whiting.
Yeah, and also at the Whiting Community Center.
Hey, by the way, Brian Jennings is in the brass over at Griffith High School. They have a baseball field named after him, and he is major college announcer that whenever he has an opening, we take him and he does a game for us. But well known throughout the baseball world. What is it about, I know the answer to this, about Satkowski's coaching techniques that has allowed him to send so many guys onto the next level?
I think he's demanding. It wasn't easy to play in. It wasn't easy to play in his program because not of the way he did things, but he just had high expectations. And the kids would have to be there. On when it's 95 degrees out, they'd have to be there an hour and a half beforehand or 2 hours beforehand to take BP. And the travel at times wasn't easy. But it separated the kids that wanted to be good and wanted to be challenged from the kids that just wanted to be everyday kids who played the game of baseball. And Dave wanted baseball players, not kids who played baseball. There's a difference.
Is that true?
I would say so. I think, it was demanding to play in our program. It's summer. You got to consider this is summer baseball, and a lot of programs it was, well, okay, let's show up for the game and then we'll see you tomorrow night for the next game, and there was nothing in between. And I just, felt that if you want to get to that next level, it's a constant battle to get to that next level. You have to be committed and dedicated and work at it. And that's kind of how we set the program up, to try to get the kids, show them what it might be like when they get to that next level. And we were very fortunate to just have a lot of good kids come through the program and kids that were dedicated and willing to give up their summers. And, that was kind of the basis for it.
Jennings, you ever coach against Satkowski?
Oh, yeah, we did. We coached back in my Whiting days when he was at Morton, and yeah, we coached against each other.
What was that like?
It was, it was always good games, good competition, and fun. We were always talking crap to each other.
Brian Jennings is the big-time Brian Jennings, is what Satkowski and I call him. He has reached the pinnacle in announcing games. And
See, I didn't say that. I let Jim say that today because I'm being nice. You came on the air here, Brian, so I wasn't going to say anything bad today.
Well, I want you to know, Satkowski, that I got to be a little bit nicer to Brian Jennings these days because he has come up with an idea and executed it that I would have never even fathomed. And Brian, if you could just tell people what's going on.
Well, we're here at Griffith in the Griffith Public Schools. We entered into an agreement with Heartland Sports Network and you guys to house your new studios, your TV production studios here at Griffith High School. So we're excited. It'll be a great opportunity for our kids to get some hands-on training, get some professional training, state-of-the-art equipment, opportunities to maybe work for you guys in some capacity. And we're excited. We're honored to partner with you guys. We have a great relationship with you. And this was basically just nothing more than an idea that I came up with from the old WWCA Channel 50 days back in the late 70s when they had the PBS station over at Lake Central with Jim Barber and Bob Alvarez and guys like that. John Premitz, I think, even spent some time there doing sports and all that. So I had mentioned it to our leadership here, and we went to the board with it, and everybody was on board and in agreement. And after meeting with you guys a little bit, it worked out, and we're excited to have you guys part of our building.
Did that surprise you, Lukosius?
Not at all.
Literally, I would have never thought, let's follow the Channel 50 mile. Remember John Tennant doing all those games? Think of how many people came out of Lake Central. The one dude who does the sports in L.A. for like 30 years, he got his, what was his name, Jim. He would always talk about, Munster won last night or something, because my buddy lives in L.A., but he started with John Premitz and those guys at Lake Central. You're going to find that's the whole idea. Do you remember those days?
Yeah, I do. But, isn't this what's happening with the Bears coming to Hammond, using the same model of bringing the Colts from Baltimore to Indianapolis? The same concept of the council in Indianapolis and so on. So if it's good, if it's not broken, why try to fix it?
Jennings, I want to thank you for coming up with the idea and then executing it with and all the people at the Griffith School Board and and Leah Dumazic and the rest of you guys. Our guys are so excited. They're mainly excited because they don't have to see me every day. They get to move somewhere else. But I think you're right. Yeah, you think Satkowski's demanding? Ask Adrian. Anyways, but we're hoping to find some, real dedicated and young people that want to learn streaming and broadcasting, and it looks like it's a good partnership.
You know what? If I could just intervene here, I'm so glad to hear this because, my years at Purdue, Calumet, Purdue Northwest, we were big on experiential learning. And, this is exactly what you're doing. When you were over on the boulevard and we had students in and you were teaching them, they were learning. It doesn't get any better than that. Your college education that was also additioned, so to speak, by having the experience, be able to do things in a real world situation. So it doesn't get any better than that.
Jennings, final comment about Satkowski. Anything you can make fun of him about? We're going to sit here as soon as you hang up and make fun of you, so you might as well do it.
I'm sure you got a great story.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, but he can make fun of me too. So he's got a microphone too. So I'll refrain until when there's no microphones around. But no, I'm happy for him. I'm honored to be his friend. It's well deserved. You're not going to find more loyal and dedicated person to Hammond and the guy sitting right by him, Wes, right there. Wes is another guy who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and I owe a lot to Wes as well as Dave. So I appreciate it, Dave. I'm happy to be your friend. Wes, good to talk to you, and I hope you're doing well. And
thank you, Brian.
Thank
you as well.
To the Hall of
Thank
Fame
you,
banquet
Brian.
on the 10th.
Thank you. Good to talk to you, Ryan.
All right, guys. Any other phone calls? Thanks a lot. There's some people that want to talk to you, Satkowski, so let's do it. 219-845-1100. You want to talk to Dave Satkowski? Maybe you played for the Chiefs. Maybe you got your ass kicked by the Chiefs. Whatever it is, you can call right now. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
They're not.
Hello?
Hey, yeah, we got you. Hello.
We got you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Is
You
Jed?
got me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
You got me?
Yeah, you're good. What's up?
I've been holding for so long from the other part, but I've been listening also. But could I give my 2 cents about the Bears?
Yes, because Wes is here to take your phone calls. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I can recall back in the 50s, and I happen to be a big Packer fan, but I hope the Bears come to Northwest Indiana.
It didn't take 20 seconds for you to say
when
that.
I was in high school, and the Bears would practice at St. Joe's in Rensselaer, the college.
Oh, yeah, that's
Does
right.
Anybody,
Forgot about
did
that.
anybody remember any of that?
Absolutely.
That was in the 50s and 60s.
Yep.
Yeah, we all wiped St. Joe's out of our minds now that it's not there. So, what does that have? Go ahead.
Well, I remember that very well because I was in high school then. And then 3 of my girls went to St. Joe, graduated from St. Joe, and a lot of Bishop Knoll. I went to Bishop Knoll, and a lot of Bishop Knoll students went to St. Joe College back in the late 50s from Knoll. But I hope the Bears come, not in my lifetime, but I can say that I probably would be. That would be my second choice team.
So, first of all,
after my Packers.
All right, first of all, I want to check the accuracy of your statements. Is that okay? Did you go to Catholic Central or Bishop Knoll?
No, I went to. Wait a minute. I went to Bishop Knoll. I didn't go to the Institute. I went to Bishop Knoll High School. After I got out, they named it an institute.
All right. I'm just kidding about the Catholic Central thing. Hey, listen,
That's quite.
You're a Packers fan, and you call on a regular basis. Your own family won't even watch football games with you. I mean, you wear a Packer hat, you wear a Packer jacket, your whole room is decorated in Packer stuff. Why in God's name would you want the Bears to come to Indiana?
Because they deserve to be here. I went to all the Bear games during, when my husband and I were first married. We had tickets on the 35-yard line that were some prior Packer fans. We went with a bunch of Michigan fans. We tailgated every Sunday that they were there. I remember going to 8:30 Mass at the thing in Hammond, the Carmelite home, and then we would take off to go to the Bear game and tailgate. We tailgated right next to the Weber people. Had a lot of time, a lot of fun, and I went to the University of Wisconsin, and Abilene used to come and do. We had a great time, and I enjoyed going. But I was a Packer fan. I can't remember why. All of a sudden, one day, I grew up in like 4th or 5th grade and said, "Oh, I'm a Packer fan," and I never changed. So, but my family, we listen to different games on Sundays. I can never sit with them because it's like, I want to throw up, but then that's the way it goes.
All right. Thank you for a phone call. I appreciate it. I want to get that visual of you throwing up out of my mind, so we're going to move on. Thanks a lot, Bobby. I love you, buddy. Thanks a lot. All right, let's take one more. Anybody want to talk to Dave Satkowski? He's going into the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, or you want to talk about the Bears with Wes Lukosius? Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hey, you're on.
Hey, good morning. Just gonna let Jed know St. Joe's is actually up and running again. So.
What is?
St. Joe's. You said they're closed. They're not there anymore. They're actually in Rensselaer.
St. Joe's and Rensselaer started up again? No way.
Yeah. Anyways, congratulations, Coach. And it's a great honor for you. And you've always been a pretty awesome coach to watch, and you've done pretty good. So, all right, you guys take care.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Oh, I'm going to have to do some fact checking on St. Joe's. Now, I there was rumors somebody else was going to open it as a school, but maybe
I was reading something in one of the papers about the facility there being maybe a place the Bears would consider training, at which they would train, but that didn't make much sense.
Hey, remember, I hate to bring this guy up, but Joe Fletcher.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Joe Fletcher.
Yep.
All right, he coached there. And, I knew Fletcher a lot of years. We partied our butts off a lot of times. And I go down there and to visit him. He's like, hey, man, stop in and I'll show you around. So I meet him at the field, shows me around the field. We go around and everything. And I'm like, well, we're going to go have a beer. Yeah, he goes, yeah, come back to my place. You know where his place was? It was the dorm room overlooking the baseball field. He lived out of a dorm room for a long time, and he loved it right there at St. Joe's.
He would give lessons out of the back of his car. That was his vehicle, and he had all his equipment in the back of his trunk. And he'd come over to Riverside Park, and we had a bullpen mound out there, and he would just go out there, and that would be his place to give lessons.
Oh, he he used to give hoseback lessons.
Yep.
And one time, I'm so into it, he's showing them just how to get a little tail on your fastball right at the end. And it really helped Steve as he pitched. Could never get the ball over the plate, but there was this little tail. And I'm so into watching Fletcher teach and everything that I feel bad, but I forgot about my daughter that I was watching, and she left, and we had the police come, and we had to pick her up, find her, and it was awful. But he was that mesmerizing as a pitching coach.
Yes, he was.
But he loved living out of a dorm room for years.
He made the bullpen over out of the back of his trunk. He says, hey, I want to build this mound. Are you okay with that? I said, yeah, go right ahead. So next thing I know, he's bringing dirt and stuff in the back of his trunk. He's building a mound. And we eventually named it Fletcher's Pen. It was Fletcher's Pen down there.
All right, one more call for Satkowski. 219-845-1100. Now, I'm waiting until there's a delay. That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's why I was like, why is there used to not be that much
delay,
but
but there's a delay now. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Hey, guys, this is MX. Wes, I tried to friend you on Facebook. I'm very serious about this. If you Google Perry Stabler, Hammond, Indiana, you'll find out he is a former amateur motocross championship, been in various regional events and ranked high at the races. And I was wondering if a lot of training goes into that, a lot of money, a lot of dedication, weightlifting, jogging, broken bones. If you could get this guy, Perry Stabler, into your Hall of Fame.
Well,
and if you want, you could come over to his house. He won the season class trophy at Shady Hills in 1979, the 500 A-class pro open class, and won many state trophies. So maybe it's time for a motocrosser. It's up to you guys, but I think it would be the right thing to do for this Perry Stabler guy.
All right, hold on.
Dave, I'm going to try to friend you. I friend Les Precocious, and he hasn't accepted my friend request. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks. We'll talk about it. All right, no more calls for Dave. We have to move on. But here's the thing. Is he eligible?
He could be. What we need is a nomination form
nominate
complete.
him.
Okay, just on the website we have a nomination form. You can fill in the nomination form and send it back to us, and then we'll take it from there.
But he wasn't a high school athlete.
Well, it doesn't matter. Was he a Hammond resident?
All the time, yeah.
Okay, well then that's a consideration. So there are a number of individuals who have been nominated that we're considering who did not play high school sports. They're into some other things, and so this is one of them. And yeah, I mean this is something that we would certainly give every attention to.
The only reason, I mean, my cousins were motocross racers, and so I went to the races with them sometimes. And this guy, Perry Stabler, who calls my show all the time, was like a god to these guys, and we would go just to watch him race, and then he was one of the pioneers in it, and he won when I was there one time when he won a championship in like the late 70s or something like that. So it wasn't like it's just that he's such a goofball, and but I can attest to his popularity in getting the sport of motocross going. So I'll put it in. I know I don't want to. I'll put any pressure. I know that these things are hard to. Our sportsmanship committee, we go back and forth on who's going to work. Who's getting what award. It takes forever, and I understand that. But so with that. If anybody else wants to nominate someone for the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, go through that process again?
We need a nomination form completed. So it's got to start there. I mean, we on the committee don't just pull names out and say, hey, how about this guy or this gal? We need a nomination form to evaluate.
And the kind of people that you're looking for, or what are the specifications?
Hammond resident, for someone who competed at a Hammond school. If it's a sporting event there that would be offered, sports would be offered, would have played at a Hammond school. Character is a part of the process. In the case of coaches, we have a number of individuals, and Dave fell into this category. There are a lot of outstanding individuals, coaches still involved in sports, and we're waiting for them to retire. But they have such a passion for it, they continue doing it. So we've added to our criteria is that if you've reached the age of 65 years old and you're still involved with your sport, we will consider you having reached that age.
Sad note, one of the longtime Hammond folks, Mr. Hemingway, passed away this year. Can you talk about him a little bit?
Well, I remember him at Clark High School when I worked at the Times writing there, and he was on the football coaching staff there. Great man, quiet guy, but very highly respected, hard worker. He was all for the kids, and he was inducted, and every year, unfortunately, we have a number of our past inductees who pass away, and during our induction program, we offer a moment of silence for those who have left us here over the past year.
Dave Satkowski going in. Go ahead.
Coach Hemingway, great person. I knew him, and he was one of the very few guys when he was coaching at that time with Nick Voris up there at Clark High School. One of the very few guys who could say, hey, Nick, wait a minute, and Nick would stop and listen to him, and that was the influence he had.
Might be the only person.
Yep.
There it is. Hey, he's Dave Satkowski. He's going in on March 10th. Get your tickets. I don't like when people call me, they can't get a ticket because it's sold out, and then they're trying to pull rank with me. It puts me in an awkward position. I'll definitely come out to see Satkowski go in. We've been friends for a long time. But do your tickets now if you're thinking of going, because it will sell out. There's only so much spot at the Hammond Civic Center. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim.
All right, guys. And sorry we went overboard. Adriana, we'll pick it up in the next hour and get caught on spots. Thanks to our sponsors for being so patient. We'll be right back on the voice and face of the region.
It's Gold Rush time at Albert's. Oh, looky here! Oh, those are gonna fetch a pretty penny.
Who's gonna buy them from us?
I'll buy that gold from you.
What did you say?
I said I'll buy that gold from you, and I'll give you top dollar.
That sounds great.
It's gold rush time. We will see you at Altus.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
Good morning, everyone. You're listening to The Morning Show on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. And you're also watching live here on YouTube. So we're going to get started with the next segment here. But first, we're going to do a little bit of traffic and weather here. So currently, right now, at the Track and Van Til Studios, it is 27 degrees. It's warming up with a high of 44 today and a low of 32. Periods of clouds and sunshine, and tonight, clear skies. Moving forward into the rest of the week, on Friday, it says that we're going to get 64-degree weather. I don't know if I'm believing that so much, but maybe some high 50s. Lows of 30-degree weather, sunshine, breezy, warmer weather, partly cloudy in the nighttime. Saturday, we're looking at highs of 37 degrees, lows of 24 degrees. A little afternoon snow and snow early in the evening. And we continue with those 30 to 40-degree weather until we get to about Thursday. Into the weekend, we see 60s and high 50s once again. You got traffic?
294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Your issues are, as always, on the Bishop Ford into the Dan Ryan. They've been a kind of a often on thing all day long. Let's see. Right now it's mostly just the Dan Ryan. There's a kind of a bad spot between 95th and 76th. And then a bad spot all the way from 43rd on into Jane Byrne. Skyway Toll Road, Borman look pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I'm going, obviously, to the Combine today in Indianapolis, Hunter and I. And we're going to, we got special tickets. We can go down on the field and stuff. And then we're going to a sports tech.
There you go. Sounds exciting.
It is kind of exciting, and I've never been to the Combine, but more importantly, I'm kind of excited about some of the new sports tech that they're going to show us. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to come back with all these ideas, and that's just going to turn everybody around. But it is what it is. I do want to promo Adriana's WJOB podcast network. She brought along the Cow Guys podcast. He's happy, I'm happy, and a lot of you guys will be hearing that on WJOB from time to time, but he's a national figure. He's on Fox Business News this morning. He has his own show at 1:30 every day.
I got to get him to post it on his socials.
I told him, I go, let us get it right. Let's get the. I'm not a huge fan of the name. It's called What Makes the Cow Guy Cry, and that
it's just because his name is Cow Guy. Automatically, you're gonna look that up. Farmers.
Well,
cattle.
I know, but that's been his brand and his dad's brand before that. So
I might add some stuff in the next part of it. Here's Matt Hansen's Master in Local Marketing coming out, but we'll add to the back end of it because that's what people see. They see what makes a cow guy cry, but then we can add Scott Chelity, the life story of him, grief, we can add in all of those things.
Grief, loss, and trauma, and how to heal.
Trauma. Yep, every single thing, every single keyword, we can add those in, so that way we'll make it more discoverable. I might do that later today, but like I was telling you off the air, I'm like, I need Wi-Fi. Everything's cooked up by Ethernet cables back here. There's no Wi-Fi here.
Oh, you know what? We did that on purpose, and I will...
So I'm about to take the printer and bring it over here so I can have Wi-Fi while you guys are doing your podcast.
Wait, the printer has Wi-Fi?
Yes, it does.
Oh, I did not know that. Well, I don't know. All my stuff's hooked up. I don't know what the password is. I apologize.
I don't know how that's hooked up. There's no Wi-Fi over here.
Adriana, to get just a little bit of context about what we're doing here, this is my first show in these brand new studios. I've said it a bunch of times, but this guy, Bob Starkey, just showed up out of thin air. And
look at his creation, him with... Rob, what's Rob's last name?
Rob Ellis.
Rob Ellis, yes, him and Rob Ellis, they did it, and they did a very, very good job. I know at the beginning when we first moved in here, we were like, okay, faith, trust, and pixie dust, we're going to get this done. And, yep, they had a lot of that. So, and it looks really good. They painted everything. Everything looks nice, as you guys can see from here. We'll zoom out just a little bit so you guys can get, like, the full scope. We have this newsroom area going. And it looks really nice. You get a lot of room, a lot of people in the studio. But I will say one thing that we do need to get is some new chairs. Because I hear it in the background of all the shows, even just the producer sitting here. So we're going to get new chairs.
Hey, anybody that wants to buy the chairs for us, I don't know, probably $1,500 or so.
No.
No?
Mm-mm. I found a good deal, $250.
Per chair?
Nope. For 5 chairs.
Then go ahead and buy it right now. All right. So I thought I was going to say if somebody wants to sponsor that. I can't tell you how excited I am on 2 fronts that we basically finished this studio Sunday night at 11 o'clock, and then they did a show on Monday. Of course, there were hiccups, but we're taking a radio station, making a TV station out of it, and it needed basically triple the space that was in the old WJOB studio. That's just about 15 feet away from here. That old WJOB studio, many of you, thousands of you have been in, including me when I was a kid, is now my office and my podcast studio that I'll let others use. But a lot of really cool things going on with that. You just heard the announcement by Brian Jennings of the Heartland Sports Network. We left Purdue, and they really didn't need any office space because all they do is go out and do games. But, come in the spring and in the summer, they need some office space, and in the fall. So they're moving into Griffith High School, and it's pretty exciting. It's kind of the old Channel 50 model that was in Lake Central forever and spawned a number of great broadcasters just by having Channel 50 there. So Griffith will certainly have an edge, but we will take other high school interns, and they will just have to come over to Griffith, and that's where they'll learn the craft. To be taught by Sam Michael and Josh Beaudry and Nick Hedrick and Ben Cowart. I mean, these guys have been doing it I think all of those people have been with me for 10 years, and they have a lot of knowledge to, dispense. So they'll be opening up after sectionals, basically. We're pretty busy. And that brings up that question. If you want to sponsor sectionals in some way, high school kids on TV, get a hold of Sam at heartlandsportsnet.com. It's It's pretty cheap, and we just love. I think we just paid $4,000 in rights fees to stream the games. Certainly, our unions and our many longtime sponsors cover all that, but a little bit of extra dough for the guys to go out and have pizzas and be able to do some things is brought on by just I think the smallest is a $600 sponsorship up to $1,500. You can find that at heartlandsportsnet.com. Let's do another segment. Do you mind?
Yep, we could do that.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk about some of the legislation going through Indianapolis right now. Here's one that I know it's front page news down there, but I'm not exactly sure how many people it affects, but there's a principle it affects. As anti-Trump protests continue to grow in number and attendance, lawmakers approved a measure that would more harshly punish masked protesters who act illegally. The act of wearing a mask would worsen a person's penalty or sentence if they got arrested, and you can go protest with a mask, said the bill's author. But if you do so and somehow break the law, it'll make your sentence worth, is paraphrasing that rather long quote. The legislation would also codify language to prohibit, quote, malicious littering, which targets the act of scattering flyers intended to stoke fear and intimidate others. And the legislation is setting off alarm bells for First Amendment advocates. The question is whether this sort of provision would chill lawful speech or be implemented unconstitutionally, especially when other laws have already prohibited targeted behavior. People have a First Amendment right to participate in anonymous speech, and as long as they're not basically committing a crime, right? People can also pass out political literature and engage in hateful speech for the most part. So the First Amendment specialist at the Freedom Forum asks, why put a new law in the books that could be enforced over broadly, that could chill speech when you could just as easily prosecute or file a civil claim? Now, the legislation is motivated by the recent surge in anti-Trump protests. So one of the guys told Indy Star that the impetus to draft this legislation was 2024's nationwide protests and at times unlawful behavior on college campuses, especially at Columbia University. When you hear this, Adriana, what do you think?
So the first thing that was brought up was to not wear masks at protests, and if you break the law and you're caught wearing a mask, your sentence is worse. Does that apply on
Can
the
you
other
put
sides?
Can you put your camera on?
Yeah.
That doesn't.
I know. I wanted to go back how it was at the old studio where you could see this just shows like our cameras, and that honestly needs to be over here.
Okay.
So we need to switch that.
Okay.
But no, the camera's on me. But
all right. So it looks like it's just on me,
yeah,
but it is on
me.
you. Okay.
Yeah, they
all
can
right.
see me. Hi, YouTube
okay.
peoples. Oh, right here. Yeah, because I'm looking at this camera. But so you can't wear a mask when you protest because they need to be able to identify you in that sense. Now, does that go the other way for law enforcement? Because that's one of the really big things that people were like, well, don't wear a mask. And one of the main reasons I think people wear a mask, yes, they don't want their face to be shown. But it's also in case of any kind of gas that is thrown into the area, they want to protect themselves. So, I don't know, does it go both ways, or is it just one-sided so that way they can identify the protesters, but you don't identify them?
So say that again.
Law enforcement.
All right,
So the reason why people feel they need to wear masks to protest, one, they want to cover their identity. Okay. The other reason is that people fear that they might throw some form of gas into the protest area, that lawmakers might, or somebody who is against that cause may throw some form of gas, and they want to protect themselves. They want to not have to breathe that in. So that's why they wear the mask. So that's for the protesters. Now, on the other side, are they making law enforcement do the same thing? You don't wear a mask. Is that
That's the part I guess I hadn't really thought of. And by the way, when I take a phone call or something, can you go hit that thermostat? I have it at 62.
Are you cold?
Well, I put it down there overnight, and I go, I'm freezing my butt off here. And punch it up to 67, 68, something like that. But, does it go both ways? You see, in America right now, a lot of things that, might seem to make sense in other eras don't really apply. And it goes for both sides.
It does.
It does. I mean, when I nearly basically got canceled over that in that commencement speech that I gave, I was like, this is wrong. America is built on forgiveness, and the chancellor made some inappropriate remarks, but he's never shown any anti-Asian tendencies. As a matter of fact, he just got back from China, and that might have been why it came up like that. And I was like, this is wrong, and we need to have some common sense here. Well, certainly right now with like the MAGA movement, sometimes things just don't make sense. And this one of, the protesters can't wear a mask, but we can as the ICE.
I feel if it went both ways, that both are requested to not wear masks, I think everybody would be okay. I don't see why protesters would be like, okay, well, they're not wearing masks. I'm not going to wear a mask. In a perfect world, rose-colored glasses, everybody would be happy with that. But, of course, we're not going to get that.
Well, I think, and I guess this might even just be a teaching moment in that, I've sat here off and on for 42 years doing shows here. And I get to see little waves of, like, Indiana's a very conservative state.
It is.
And, to some extent, I kind of like the traditional conservatism. And then there are times when we kind of go, like, off into some, like, sort of area of, that I'm, like, not a big fan of. And then we kind of come back to where you just have traditional conservatism, and then you have the Democrats, and then sometimes it even goes over towards a Democrat. O'Bannon School over here was a Democratic governor. You don't realize it, and that was just, 20 years ago. So, or more, a little more than 20. But and when Indiana said no to the redistricting for Trump, I thought, well, maybe we're coming back to our traditional conservatism, which is, less regulation and just kind of the government kind of trying to leave you alone more. I've always kind of sided with that, and not necessarily some of this other stuff. But now, since the Indiana legislature said no to Trump, now they're coming in really. One of them is this mask thing, and then he has another one. Indiana immigration bill heads to the governor, and that's strengthening the partnership with ICE. Now, this is another part of it. A Trump administration official has called the bill the gold standard of immigration reform. The bill's opponents fear the legislation will turn everyday Hoosiers into deputies for ICE. Here's the deal. In other words, now becomes your responsibility the Indiana Attorney General could sue local governments, local hospitals, local public schools, any colleges that attempt to restrict immigration enforcement under a bill that passed after hours of intense debate. It would add state-level penalties for employers who knowingly or intentionally hire unauthorized workers and require local police to hold inmates at the request of ICE. 2 Republicans voted no. Other than that, it was a 37-11 vote along party lines. Governor Braun is expected to sign it. Now, critics see it as a continuation of a national approach to immigration enforcement they view as cruel. How is it that when we talk about human beings, we reduce their humanity to having a piece of paper, said one of the opponents. For others, the bill was simply about ensuring people will follow the law and enter the country legally. So one of the issues that I immediately thought of, and I'm going to central Indiana, is that in the middle of Indiana, how do you think our crops all get picked? It is, I think it's 62% of illegal, undocumented workers have been here more than 10 years. They come, they pick the crops, they go back, they come and go. But I'm just worried, I understand there are plenty of other issues with this. I know farmers in the middle of the state. How are these going to get picked? And a couple of people from these areas, said basically the same thing, that Todd Rokita is the one that has put this forward, and he, of course, grew up about a mile from here in Munster. The bill's passage is the latest proof that Indiana is a ready and willing partner for President Donald Trump's mass deportation campaign. So a number of the Republicans said, hey, listen, how are these people going to pick their crops, man? And what are we going to do? Sweep everybody up? I mean, you could go into any field in September and October, any field, there was people picking crops, and you could just sweep them up. And, they're not legal. There's just most of them. I'd say, 90% of them are not legal. You also put schools in a very precarious position, especially here in Hammond. Okay? Yeah. So let me go through the rest of the concerns have already been laid bare by Rokita suing Indianapolis schools, alleging the district violated the law by not releasing a student to be deported with his father. Now, one of the people against it, Carolyn Grimes, an immigration lawyer, said the school was placed in an impossible position, faced with federal agents who appear to possess extraordinary authority. And then there's a minor expressing fear. There's no judicial directive and a very real fear of political and legal retaliation. I don't mean to be an alarmist, but I think it's coming to Hammond. If you were going to go as ICE and you were going to sweep Hammond, 50% of all kids in our schools are Hispanic, right? And you and I both know, I don't know, if of the, maybe 6,000 Hispanic students in Hammond, 2,000 are not documented. Would that be overestimating?
They might be what people call anchor babies.
Yeah, they might be. They may have been born here, but their parents at home were not. And I just wonder what Todd Rokita, it's kind of led by him, is going to do with this. So in other words, Indiana's going above and beyond other states to make it easy for ICE to come in, make the schools give up the people, make the local government house the people, house people. And what was the other one? Schools, employers. And then the employers. Now, this is the one I got to believe there's going to be some pushback by big conglomerates that own farms. I mean, who runs our farms? Who kills the pigs? Who picks the pumpkins? I don't know how they're going to implement this. All right, now it's your turn. What do you think?
Well, isn't, like you're saying, they're going towards the schools? Did you say hospitals or no?
Yep.
Hospitals, employments, areas, and churches, right?
Yep.
So all of those areas are...
No, I didn't say churches.
Not churches? Okay, I didn't know if you said churches or not.
Yeah.
But, so majority of those areas are considered safe zones in that sense, where you go into a hospital, they're not going to ask if you have insurance, documentation, anything like that. They are going to help you. They can't just patient dump. for schools, that was a really big thing a few years ago when immigration was there at the dorms looking for students if they had the proper documentation, visas, or not. That was a really big thing, and we were like, we thought that this wasn't allowed, and like they could have gotten in trouble, but then we see, based on the last few years, they're not going to get in trouble for it. So it probably does worry a lot of people that this is something that's going to happen, that you see it on the news, but it's going to happen right in front of you. So I don't know. A lot of schools, especially, they are known to be mainly Hispanic institutions, but it's not just Hispanics too. It's all kinds of different people who may not have the documentation, and like you said, who's going to pick the crops, who's going to run the businesses too. A lot of people who are undocumented start businesses. They start small businesses to make their living. Who's going to run those businesses when they're not there? So I don't know. It's a very extreme way. Looking at it from the other side, people will say, well, we just want to keep our region safe from undocumented immigrants.
There is validity to watching our border and getting a strong border. And honestly, I think that was Trump's. I mean, he was like plus 17. I don't know if you know how that works, but of people, 50-50, it's plus 17, wanted a strong border. It's like, hey, man, let's get some strength. And he's done that. Now, it has gone way minus on his numbers because of the tactics of ICE and the extent to which they've gone after undocumented workers, illegal immigrants, whatever you want to make your term as. It kind of looks like that if you're like Republican, you say illegal aliens, and if you're Democrat, you say undocumented workers. So I think if you're trying to be in the middle, what was she? Undocumented aliens, illegal workers? Illegal workers sounds all right. So let's do that one. Okay, so let's go with illegal workers. It is an issue.
Yeah.
But, if you look around here, and I was astounded at this, there are about around 65% of the people that have been here, that are here illegally, have been here for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about it. You're looking at down the street at the Hispanic family that came from Mexico, could never get past the green card, and now all of a sudden they've overstayed their visa. And then they had kids, and now the kids are legal, right? But the parents aren't. Those are some of the most difficult situations. I'm sure you know people in that situation.
Yeah, a lot of individuals, they're scared for their families when
they go to school and they're like, I hope mom and dad are there when I come home.
And I remember there was this one friend that I used to have that their parents, like one of them had their documentations, but then the other one, like their visa was expired or whatever, like they had to renew the green card. I don't know if it was visa or green card, whichever one, but they had some form of documentation, but they didn't have it for a couple months, and they were worried about that because the process takes so long to renew, even when you do it early. And if ICE comes in, I don't care if you have a court hearing, because then also they're taking them at court hearings too. When they're trying to do it the right way, you're still taking them when they're in that process of it. Even if they've been here, like you said, for 10 plus years and they have to renew it, they're still getting taken at the court hearings. Wait a minute, I've been here for 10 years. I'm renewing this. Sorry, you don't have it on you at this point in time. You're done.
One more. And honestly, you guys, I know you're calling and that kind of thing, and we're not going to do that right now. Let Adriana take the calls after I leave here. I got to rest up. I have a whole bunch of stuff today. Indiana lawmakers have given final approval to legislation that aligns the state with Donald Trump's new work requirements and then goes quite a bit further. The bill adopts the most stringent allowable aspects of the new federal law known as H.R. 1, but it also enacts policies the federal government did not ask for, such as submitting information up the chain about household members of Medicaid or SNAP applicants whose legal immigration status the state can't confirm. Advocates warn that means additional Hoosiers could lose Medicaid and SNAP access under the bill. It went 39-9 along Republican Democrats. So given that the Secretary of the Family and Social Services Administration said the state is not aware of any undocumented people receiving food stamps or Medicaid, advocates in the Medicaid space see that provision as a red herring, distracting from the many ways eligible recipients could get snagged by paperwork issues. The idea that they are somehow illegally accessing public benefits, that is being used to justify a set of administrative changes that will make the program more inefficient, more expensive, and result in a bunch of people getting kicked off in administrative errors. So what's happening down there, and part of the reason that I kind of look at is that you could see that I'm more and more involved in our sports network and raising money for that is basically what I do. And I'm going down to Indy today for that very purpose, to raise some money. And it's more difficult for me to come in here and do this show. I have to do this. I had to get up at 4:30, and I'm going to get home at 11 tonight. If I, and that's after 2 drinks with, potential investors. That's a long day.
Yeah,
and
energy drinks.
And I don't really, I'm not into these. I don't care about these issues as much. And you can see it. And so can my buddy Kuziak. He's always calling me. He's like, dude, let's just go in the afternoon where we can take our time. We don't have to address all of the issues head on as much. But you do if you're hosting in the morning like you are. When you and Starkey are here Friday, you have to take all the issues like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Okay? When we're doing it in the afternoon, we can do whatever the hell we want. There's a lot more freedom. Okay? And Kuz and I and Brent Brazier and Maloney and who knows, maybe even bring back Reardon. But that's kind of where it's going, and we're setting that up right now. But so I want you to see the trends, because you got to, whether you agree with them or not, they are the trends. What happened here was that Indiana stood up to Donald Trump and said, we're not redistricting this. This is stupid. And he was pissed.
Yeah, he was
And
livid.
he's still pissed.
Took on to his social medias. That's how you know we messed him up.
And, and still, Indiana with Braun, who is a pro-MAGA, pro-Trump governor, is is the most, from what I understand, the most unpopular governor in America right now. And so what's happening is, to mitigate some of that, I think they have to go and do some things that kind of shows that we're still on the team, right? Mm-hmm. And especially this Medicaid bill, you got to force people to work and whatever, or at least look for a job to get Medicaid. Or all right, cool, that's understandable. But to tie it to immigration, that you got to tell about other people in your house and that kind of stuff, that goes way past what the federal government wanted, because the federal government knows that if they did that, they'd probably get sued. So, but here in Indiana, they just did it, okay? Part of that is to, hey, we're in on the game. We want to support ICE. And
also, the taxes that immigrants pay, even though, yes, they don't get the benefits, a lot of their taxes go towards Medicare.
Medicare and Medicaid, yes. So you got Medicaid, and then you got the immigration legislation that the schools got to give up their information about the people, and the hospitals do if somebody checks in and you suspect that he or she might be a illegal worker. I mean, this puts people in a really tough spot. Especially if you're just a doctor or a nurse. That my job is to tell is to make the person not die.
I can imagine also for the people that are in the higher up area, depending on whatever their viewpoints are, if they don't do that, then their funding gets cut probably. I can imagine, because we saw that a little bit earlier in 2025 when, I believe it was Harvard, wouldn't give up their information on their international students. And Trump was like, well, if you don't do this, I'm cutting your funding for all of this stuff. So it's either you give up the information or you don't have the money you need to run your business.
Excellent. So I guess to some extent, I just want to notice the trends.
Yeah.
And people are going to call in and they're going to be, and look at, you got masks, you got immigration, you got Medicaid, and they're going really hard. They're going past what Donald Trump wanted. Okay, so you see it kind of making up for like stiffing them on the redistricting. That's something you need to be aware of, and then people are going to call in and they're going to say, yeah, well, why should you wear a mask at a protest? You're not afraid, and too bad if you're, you're going to get both sides of this. But you got to know the issues, and that's kind of where I'm kind of falling behind, to be honest, is I'm not following all of these issues. I was going to say. I used to be on every one of them.
Every single one. I was going to say the hockey team, the U.S. hockey team, all that stuff.
Yeah, you were like, people are calling in, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And it's embarrassing because, I go hang out with my grandkids, and I'm not.
You don't have to worry about the world of politics with them. They don't even know what's happening in politics. And it's like, it honestly, it feels like probably like I can breathe. The rest of the world doesn't matter. Their world matters right now.
Well, you're pretty good. I mean, think about all the people that are in, and you got Starkey, you got you. You guys do a really good show on Fridays, by the way.
Thank
you guys.
We're taking more like regional topics.
You're too polite to each other.
Well, no, we have our disagreements. We disagreed on the school protests. But we're not going to rip each other's heads off like everybody else on the station's going to do, like with callers. Like I do it with callers sometimes too. But we understand it's like, okay, I may not agree with you. You may not agree with me. I hear your side. You hear mine. And that's okay. And we're just going to move on from our days because, and I know you're like, this is terrible.
It's a
we
bad
want the drama.
He knows that, it's kind of it would be a bad look for him if he comes out really aggressive at a 22-year-old Hispanic woman. It just, it just does. It looks
bad.
But he could engage you strongly if you engaged him first.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then it's okay. But if he comes out and attacks you, it's not going to, it's just how it is, and it's going to take a while for that to come to it. But I love listening to you two, partly because you're so awkward with each other and you don't want to upset him. Don't worry about Bob Starkey. He's a big boy. If you say something he doesn't like, too bad. And then when you're doing it, which may be part of the game here, you got to understand this. Colby explained this to me a long time ago. I don't know why this old man told me all this stuff, and partly because I just hung around after I clocked out. I would just hang around, and he'd come in and he'd smoke a cigar in that little office. It still smells like cigars. And
the one right here?
So
on this other side of
the nice office. That was his.
Office.
So you noticed yesterday that Hammond McDermott, evidently I didn't see it, but I had text a bunch of. He used the F word. F Dedelow this, and just kind of ripped on me deeply. Okay, and I don't know what it was about.
Where did he do that at?
On this podcast. Okay, I want you to understand that if you're doing your job, that's going to happen. Okay, and that the first time it happens, you're going to be crushed and you're going to go crawling under.
You're like, I want to just hide from the world.
You want to hide from the world, and you're going to go home and cry, maybe, whatever. I don't know, whatever your outlet is for a month, but it's going to happen. And you're going to have to, as long as you're on the issues like I'm explaining to you, and you have well thought out, logical opinions, and you respect other people's opinions, then you don't have anything to worry about. Yeah. Okay? So, like, I don't know, he was mad. Here's what he was mad about, I think. Monday, Chuck Pullen comes in. I told you the story. I'm going into yoga. It's 6:05. Chuck's already angry about the Bears. I come out at 7:10. He's already angry about the Bears. I go to home and take a shower. I come out and at 8:05, and he's still angry about the Bears, right? I mean, he just talked because he just can't stand spending money, and I don't think is a big fan of Hammond McDermott, so that kind of colors his thinking sometimes. Then the next day, Verley comes in and just rips on it and says, she said this, she goes, well, they chose Hammond because they're going to eventually go to Arlington Heights, and they didn't want the optic of using Gary, but they didn't mind the optic of using Hammond and McDermott. And, man, I think he got angry at that. But that's our job to let them talk. And sometimes they assign that to me, and I'm certainly for the Bears coming here and, would do anything. But within that, I want to make sure that you understand that if you come out and you're on, like I used to be on the air 25 hours a week, and I came out for the train. 20 hours of it for 2 years would just be people calling in saying everything negative about the train. So in a weird way, and Colby explained this to me, he goes, if you come out for something, you're actually hurting that cause sometimes. Because now every day, all the people that are against it every day are going to call in and just over and over, expand on why it shouldn't happen. So anyways, I just wanted to bring those things up.
I know that, and I've learned this very early on, especially working here, that no matter what you say, nobody's going to be happy. No matter what you do, one side or the other, they're not going to be happy. So you might as well just do take a page out of your book, just do what you want in a sense. And it's like, you're not going to make everybody happy. At least make yourself happy doing your job.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy for someone that's 22-year-olds to sit in that seat. I did it, and it was at times awful.
Oh, yeah,
and
there's times it's brutal, and people are like, they hate your guts, and it's just like, okay, have a great day, bye-bye now. We're going to keep going on with the show.
But I want you to be, like, people are sending me, oh, God, McDermott this, McDermott that on you, and that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, Dan, I mean, I look at it like a guy named Dan Dumazich, the kind of the behind-the-scenes Republican guy. I don't know what he's got against me, but he does. And in my opinion, in my opinion, that he, he's done some things that were very deleterious to my situation and my family situation, and in my opinion. So I look at it that if I got McDermott and Dumazich throwing arrows at me, I really think I must be doing a good job. And that's how you got to feel, okay? That if you're going to do it right and you're going to do it, then you're going to take some arrows. And
well, I think you realized that when it was like the voting season, people were asking me, it's like, who are you voting for? I was like, somebody on the ballot.
There you go.
They're like, well, which one? I was just like, I don't know, somebody there. Well, what if the person you don't want to win isn't there? I'm just like, okay. Oh, I hope somebody gets picked on that ballot. If not, we're kind of screwed.
What do you think about the Bears?
I've been a Bears fan my entire life, and I look at least I've been paying more attention to football, especially this year, because they were actually doing pretty decent. But I don't think we're gonna get it, and if we do, I won't believe it until it is being constructed. Like, I very much don't think that we are. And it's not because, like, we don't have the location or, like, Arlington Heights is a better location. It's just that thing where I'm like, it's too good to be true.
She's Adriana Alvarez. I'm Jim Dedelow. I come in on Thursdays for now and Tuesdays, but I'll just be straight with you guys. We're rebuilding. We got it here. Don't forget to call Lori. Yes. But I'm doing 2 podcasts, maybe 3. I don't know if Weezer's coming or not.
No, Weezer is on Tuesdays.
Okay.
He did his podcast at 9 o'clock. That'll be posted on our podcast network on next Thursday. But he's doing the show by himself. And then next week, Thursday, we have Lim Walker's coming on. And I think he's doing that one by himself, too. So I think you're only doing Mastering Local Marketing at the moment.
Yeah, Mastering Local Marketing and What Makes a Cow Guy Cry is what we're doing. Hey, I'm going to take a break because I am doing about an hour and 20 minutes of podcasting right after this. And then I'm getting right in the car and driving straight to Indianapolis with Hunter Lorenzik. Yeah, that one, the point guard from Bishop Knoll. He works here. He and I are going down to the NFL Combine. And then we're going to a series of meetings this evening on sports technology. We have joined the Sports Tech HQ Cooperative. That is an Indianapolis-based thing. They have some amazing contacts, amazing technology. So I'm going to take about a 10-minute, 15-minute break. Adriana will be right back. She'll take your phone calls.
No, I'm going to get our Wi-Fi fixed.
We're done?
Well, yes, we're going to play. Honestly, what we can do right now.
Does it come off of YouTube?
No, we can actually stay on YouTube.
Yeah, but if you come off YouTube, you play some good music, not this crap.
Okay,
All right.
I'll take us off of YouTube. We'll play some music because we got to get that fixed so that way while you guys we're going to get our podcast set up and everything, and so that way I can edit that interview that you just did, and we can get that posted on our socials as well as our podcast network. It'll be posted to your podcast. So if you guys want to check all of those different things out, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. Of course, YouTube, you are watching us here live, but also follow us on our social media on Facebook and Instagram at WJOB1230, where we post a bunch of clips from all of the shows, from our community programming to our podcasting to our morning show with interviews and all of these different things that we are doing, some behind the scenes footage as well, and we will definitely get up some of the older shows that have happened throughout the history of here at WJOB.
It put out the shameless plug. If anybody has any old tapes at all, like Wes was here, first of all, he's talking while I'm on the air, and then he's like, well, I think I threw away all of my old tapes.
And you were like, are they on cassettes? He's like, maybe. I was just like, dang, I'm not going to lie. That I found a cassette tape one time, and I was just like, cool. I don't know where we could use this, and we had we had a radio that had the cassette, didn't have the CD player, but had the cassette. I was like, okay, and I looked, I was like, is this how like a VCR? You just put it in just like that? There's like, okay, yeah, we got to teach how to do this.
Wow, there's so many people listening going, she doesn't know how to do a cassette. We were cleaned out. Did you see all the work we did? Clean?
Well, I haven't looked back here.
Yeah, we did.
I see. It looks beautiful. First of all, it looks beautiful.
Verly embarrassed us.
Here. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I realized that. But we are definitely going to do something with this back area. If anything, honestly, just put some construction paper up in like a black color. That's all we need. We don't need much back here. But yeah, it looks great, and we're gonna have some interviews later on next week here live. It was so funny. You were listening on Riverside. I did an interview for class for sports broadcasting. We're doing 2 more. We're doing one with Rick Costello and Michael Lowe. Michael Lowe is a new flag football coach at PNW. Their season actually starts soon. And then with Rick Costello, we're asking him about what it's like being athletic director and his motto of student first and like student athlete, where you're the student first, then you're the athlete, because they promote themselves on their 3.0 GPA for I think it's a good amount of consecutive years. I want to say 5, but yeah, we're doing those interviews, and you're telling me like put the interview on the air. And I asked my friend that I interviewed, I was like, hey, so you know that interview you did? She's like, oh my gosh, did you get a good grade? Did you get a bad grade? I'm like, no, we got a good grade. It's okay. My boss wants to put it on the radio. She was like, what? She's like, wait a minute, I gotta hear it. She didn't hear it when I edited it. She heard it. She was like, wait, that actually sounds good. Okay, use it on the air. I was like, okay. So you'll have 2 more interviews ready to go.
And I apologize to Sean Kinsey. Sean is starting up a new thing here. I don't know where it's going to go, but Joe Cimino and I will be interviewing Sean about Morton Athletics. And there's a couple other coaches and athletic directors that want us to do podcasts.
I was going to say we're going to have Joe Cimino do that, right?
Yeah, well, I'm going to do the first. Mm-hmm. I guess you know the progression here. Usually I start something and then hand it off, kind of like moving over here. It was a lot of work. I was very involved, and now I've kind of handed it off to you and to Lori and Lynette and Joe. So I'll do the same thing with the local athletic departments. But Sean Kinsey will be the first one on Friday. You got to decide when you'll post those. I don't know. You're posting a lot of stuff on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 a.m. usually. But with sports ones like those, we might move those to Wednesdays, because I'm noticing that a lot of athletes, depending on what season they're in, their games are going to be Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, or Fridays. So we post them on Wednesdays. It's a free spot. There's not going to really be any games on those days. So that way, you can listen to it. Here's the highlights. Go watch the game.
All right. Thanks a lot. That'll do. You won't hear me for a while. I am going to the Combine today. I may do something really odd and actually post on our social media, which I never do, because I'm so excited. We got VIP passes. I'll be able to talk to a number of the seniors in college.
I gotta give you access to our social media.
All right. There you go. All right, guys. Until next time, see you later.
Before Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, we were being charged various maintenance fees and various check writing fees for all of our accounts. And with Notre Dame, we don't have that. We have that true community partnership. We get interest based on all of our parish and school accounts, and the interest rate is